The train headed for Sunset City will be departing soon.
I don't I don't do any of that stuff. That's sinful and against the Lord.
All right, everybody settle down, okay? A battered sausage is in reference to the fact that the battered sausage and chips is an iconic piece of British cuisine, and guess who came to Britain recently? None other than Sonic the Hedgehog, and Badnik Mechanic here met him. That's the general vibe.
Okay.
Yeah. So there you go.
Yeah.
So yeah. Hi everybody.
Hello.
Hey, guys, help me. I'm outnumbered. I'm the only American in the call now. Please help.
We're gonna come and
Don't mind me.
colonize you.
I'm just a robot with a beer in his hand.
I'm actually one of the good ones.
Fair enough. Oh, that's insane. Why would you say that? Don't say that. Holy shit. I'm gonna drive through right now at McDonald's chat. So just say what you want, and I'll get it for you. Obviously, because I'm a Hollywood elite that can afford it. You know.
So I learned today that America doesn't have the Big Arch Burger through. Unless, I mean, could you ask about it? Could you look at the menu and see?
I'm not doing that. I'm good.
I
already got my meal.
Big Arch Burger has proven to be a little bit controversial over here. It's like the Nintendo Switch 2 of burgers, in that it's a little bit on the expensive side, and there is question as to whether or not it is better than a Big Mac or something, because the idea of it on paper is basically a Big Mac. You got 2 beef patties, a poppy seed bun this time, and you got their special Big Arch sauce in there, which is kind of like Big Mac sauce, but a little more ketchup inclined, I'd say. It's got grilled onions, crispy onions, pickles if you want that, cheese. But the real thing here that made me kind of order it was when I found out that the patties in there, they're not the Big Mac ones. They are the quarter pounder ones. So you're getting a half pound in there of beef. But then you got the sauce, and here's what I'll say. It's one to eat with a knife and fork. Like, this is not a finger food, I'd say. But I'm a believer in the Big Arch now. Like, I had it, I was very satisfied by it, very happy with the Big Arch. So, if you're feeling skeptical, consider it. If you're a bit of a completionist for burgers, then yeah, give it a go. Have you had one, Dave?
Go to McDonald's? Do you think I'm some kind of barbarian or something?
Oh, look at the fucking wealthy London elite here, Trey. Yeah, I don't eat at McDonald's like some barbarian.
That's different. I like that. Oh, speaking of Hollywood elite, my Neo Geo Pocket Color came in the mail today.
Oh, look at me, I'm Trey. I've got so many consoles, so many. Oh. Well,
for Londoner, I'll have you know, son, if I go into a chippy and they don't have beans, I'm walking out. I don't even like beans on my fish and chips, but I expect them to be there.
Alright, so you're aware that the chippy exists, but you couldn't understand how a battered sausage could be emblematic of the UK in this context.
No, because this is also like saying, ooh, next week we've got Mario and the Top Hats Club. Like, what's that a reference to? Oh, Britons used to wear top hats.
No, because Britons currently eat battered sausage and are known for their battered foods in their cuisine.
Well, yeah, I know that.
So then surely you could see how it could be emblematic.
There's so many other foods, though.
Okay,
yeah.
I don't
know if I would want to be known as a battered sausage.
But UK cuisine is known to be quite bad because it consists of mostly battered shit. Okay, a lot of Americans.
It consists of sadness, is what it is. It's sadness. And
right.
Oh my gosh.
We're trying to kind of market it towards Americans a little bit. They're not gonna know about like fucking pies, you know, like a battered sausage,
by the way,
mate.
Pop, Trey, before we go on too further, I should probably point out, if you're here because I annoyed you and just pissed you off with my recent tweet on Twitter, welcome. I'll be addressing it very soon.
But I mean, I didn't. I don't know anything about Twitter. What's Twitter? I don't use Twitter. What are you talking about? I don't
all right,
do
that definitely could have waited. So, all right, let's go ahead and intro this. If you are waiting, by the way, for the Best Boss Fights Part 2, that's going to be another week. We don't have Dylan and Frank here. It wouldn't feel right to continue it without them. Fortunately, Dave here has a few stories to tell us and some hot takes. So that's what we're going to consist of today. Welcome to Sunset City. I'm Pup. That's Trey. That's Dave, aka Badnik Mechanic. Not to be confused with Dave Ace, the other plush Robotnik creation. And yeah, welcome to Sunset City, bitch. As always, super chats.
Okay.
Okay.
As always, super chats are read out at the end of the show. And it is brought
Yo, what's
to you
up,
once...
motherfuckers? Welcome to Sunset City.
It is brought to you once again by our patrons of the Bat Enjoyer tier, who are My Great Rolls, Vem101, Aiden Fitzgerald, Stardust Chaos, Crimson Rose, Mr. SP, KB. Boom, that's the lot. Let's fucking go into it. Dave, what have you done today? How have you got in trouble? What monkey shines and japes have you been up to?
So, in general, or what I did to annoy everybody in the Sonic community within the last hour?
You know what I mean. Stop asking me questions. You know what I mean.
Oh, was this in the last hour? I haven't been on Twitter really, so I don't even know what you're talking about.
Yeah, we don't use Twitter like some barbarian.
Well, in general, I've kind of been getting over. Well, I thought it was a cold, but it turns out it might have been my third bout of COVID, which was fun. And working on video stuff otherwise, but yeah, in the last hour I made a tweet and I thought it was kind of innocent enough and definitely would have generated a very rational response. Basically I wrote, Sonic Racing Crossworlds has kind of a problem that we're not really talking about. The license deals that make up the season pass, so stuff like SpongeBob, Turtles, Avatar, and Minecraft and all the others, those are licensed. So eventually, those licenses are going to expire, and you're not going to be able to buy those at some point. And wow, it's made a lot of people very cross.
So
I mean, that's just normal. I don't understand why that would make someone mad, because that's like a normal. I mean, we've seen it with even stuff like Fortnite, where they had to take skins down or they don't sell them anymore because the license ran out. Like shit happens. Like that's what's happened. The Deadpool game for 360 is like going up in price because
it's very interesting.
Game,
a lot of people who. Yeah, it's interesting. I don't know. There was a high pitched squeak that had died.
He suddenly turned into a fucking Dalek for a second there.
Well, it's interesting because a lot of people who are definitely very smart and know about how licenses work, unlike me, are pointing out, when has this ever happened? This has never happened before. You're just fear-mongering. Guys, no, it literally happened about 4 months ago. A very well-known video game had a bunch of DLC characters that you could only get for a limited time. The license expired, and you can't get them anymore. Do you want to know what game that was?
Go on.
It was Super Monkey Ball, and the license were all Sega characters. Sega stopped selling them. You can't get them anymore. This was their own license.
Yeah. Do you reckon there's any kind of version of...
I think this is a valid question to be asking.
Trey, you're having some signal problems, from the sounds of things.
It's the burger.
The burger. Burgers are known to disrupt internet connections. We'll let him sort that shit out. But, yeah, do you reckon there's any kind of potential stipulation they could maybe have to hold on to these things for, an indefinite period for this sake? But, because what you're saying makes perfect sense. And it's
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I would think it would. I think it would depend on the characters, because a lot of people are pointing out, what about the Team Fortress characters? They're still in the PC version. Yeah, because at the time you either bought your video games from Steam or you didn't buy them. I kind of understand why they're still in there.
Yeah.
But we're talking characters like SpongeBob SquarePants, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Avatar.
Yeah, it's the kind of thing that will probably only last as long as that relationship will. Right, you kind of are. You still sound a bit whack, but you kind of are.
Yeah, those are characters which I reckon they must have a heck of a lot of restrictions on them. They must do.
The case, yeah. I mean, we haven't got any voice clips for SpongeBob and the gang.
Yeah, so I think it's a fairly reasonable question. If this is look at all this content that you can get. It's available in the game. Here's all our content. Look at all this content, guys. It's Yeah, a huge chunk of that content is licensed characters. I mean, okay, it's not going to be everybody's cup of tea, but how long is that license agreement for? Because if that license agreement is only for, well, I would imagine it's going to be at least 2 to 3 years minimum. But if all of a sudden that licensed content goes, if you don't have it, that is a lot of content you just can't play.
So I guess, are we kind of saying, like, maybe hinging a lot of your DLC on external licenses maybe wasn't the best call for Sonic and the Crossworlds? Because for me, it's going to depend, I guess, how complete the game feels without the DLC. Because that's how I intend to buy it anyway, is just get the regular and not the digital deluxe.
I mean, yeah, that is pretty much how I'm doing it as well. Because how I've had to buy the game is a right Mickey Mouse approach. I've bought it on PS4, but only because the PS4 version is like around £12 to £15 cheaper than the PS5. But if you get the disc version and put it in a PS5, you get the PS5 version digital for free.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like I'm essentially getting the PS5 version for a really cheap rate. But I'm not buying the season pass. I've got no interest in it whatsoever. But that said, if I really enjoy the game and a lot of people are saying, oh, these characters are actually quite cool and the courses are quite cool, then yeah, I might be tempted to buy it. But at the same time, it's like, well, do I wait and hope that maybe one day they fall into a sale or a deal? Or is it a case of, oh no, I must buy this within a certain time frame or else I might not be able to get it at all now?
I'm sure it is going to kind of be, like, you're going to see one day on, like, the Twitter or something, they'll post, like, oh yeah, this content will be delisted on this date, so go get it. I mean, we've already seen plenty of examples of that happening as well. So, like, I don't think it's beyond the realm of possibility by any stretch.
Yeah.
I know. So it's just funny. So many people are saying, "Show me evidence of this happening. Where has this happened? This has never happened before." And it's like, dude, Sega literally did it.
Guys, like, it's not only just that, like, Scott Pilgrim is another example where, like, that game, the Ubisoft game, was delisted for like a decade, and then, like, they decided to rebuy the license and redistribute it, like, and that's rare for that to happen. Usually when a license expires, like, that's just it, tough shit. Like,
Yeah, I mean, to a lesser extent as well. I could even give you a Sonic game example where it's happened. Sonic Superstars. All the those skins that were like available in certain areas or exclusive to certain stores or whatever. A lot of that stuff is not available anymore. You can't get it. Like, is it the
comic skins?
It's either something like the comic skins. You can't get those anywhere.
They did end up giving away the Amy Rose skin later on.
Very happy that they did that.
Yeah, I agree. Even though, like, Wayne had me covered on that, he went and got an IHOP and gave me the code, which is hugely appreciated. But, like, yeah, I think it's better when they do, like... But I think in those cases, the fact that Amy's not, like, wearing an explicitly IHOP outfit, and the fact that these things don't tie in with other licenses, kind of allowed more of that stuff to stay. And as for the comic skins, well, those are just not available for some unknown reason. It's my favorite reason for anything.
I want to say that Frontiers is a similar issue as well. I'm pretty sure there's some skin content that just is not available anymore. And I know the I can't remember how you pronounce the name. Is it Corone?
Oh,
the VTuber. Yeah. That stuff never got released outside of Japan, which, yeah, I kind of understand why for that one, but it's still content you can't get. And there is definitely some other stuff as well that they did put out, which they've never re-released since.
Is the Monster Hunter stuff still available? I mean, I think that just went on the game automatically with the patch anyway, but, like...
I don't know. I'm guessing it's still available.
Like, surely at some point that will expire. And it's like, that's the thing. I think people are saying that Dave is fear-mongering a lot, but it's like, no one said it's going to be, like, 2 days before the license expires, you know? Like, these
I know. I mean, at one point, people were saying, no, if you buy it, they're not going to take it away from you. And it's like, that's not what I said. Listen... Guys,
the thing is, they might, but that's a completely new fear. You know, like that's an alternate.
I know, but I think it's definitely worth asking Sega about this, because I mean, just point to what they did literally 4 months ago with Super Monkey Ball. They took down all the DLC for it, and all the DLC is literally Sega characters. You can't get them anymore.
That's really stupid. And yeah, sometimes Sega will just find an excuse to be Sega about it. Like, that's one thing that can't be ruled out. This isn't like me even doom posting. I think the game looks like a lot of fun, but like, for me, a lot of it's going to depend on how complete the experience is without the DLC, which I think it will be. I think it is very much going to be a complete game, and that you can live without the DLC. For me, whether or not I buy them depends on how much fun the tracks are, but like, as it is, I love SpongeBob, but if I want to play a SpongeBob game, I'll play Battle for Bikini Bottom. I think the Ninja Turtles are kind of cool, I guess. Never seen Avatar The Last Airbender, but I think the airbending mechanics that have been teased are pretty cool. Like, so it will depend how fun this stuff is. Minecraft is going to be very difficult to get me interested in. So,
fair.
like, yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think... No, there's no invalidity there. I think, like, everything Dave is saying is perfectly realistic, to be honest. Like... yeah. Is there anything more to note about that, Dave?
I mean, not really. I mean, we'll probably end up talking a little bit more about Crossworlds when we talk about the Mclaren event, because it's sort of tied in there. But no, that was the big thing. That was my set the cat amongst the pigeons today, which I just thought this is really funny.
Then let's
think...
talk. Sorry, go on, Trey. Go on.
Oh, I was just saying. I just think it's weird that people are just like, show me an example. I'm like, guys, like, I mean, I mentioned Scott Pilgrim, mentioned the Deadpool game. Like, there's whole games that got delisted because of licensing issues. Like
every Spider-Man game prior to the Insomniac development is no longer available.
And even then, the Insomniac games are probably gonna face the same fate at one point, just because that's a Marvel property.
It's rarer now, but it does still happen. And I mean, the big one as well is video games that had licensed music in them, like Grand Theft Auto. That had a bit of a... Yeah, GTA 5. I'm pretty sure that a bunch of songs and even radio stations have been heavily edited over the years just because they don't have the rights anymore to use the music.
We've even seen that with Sonic in recent years with the fucking Sonic 3 soundtrack in Origins. Like, Sega literally do not own the rights to anything ever, even when it comes down to Sonic. So I doubt, like, when they inevitably do the anniversary re-release of Crossworlds that SpongeBob's gonna be in it, you'll instead have Rectangular Sponge Bill or something. I don't know.
Did you right? Fang. The fact Fang is back. So, this is a bit of an urban legend myth that has been around for literally years. There was a rumor on early 2010s internet that apparently the reason why you never saw Fang, Ray, and Mighty in a Sega game is because the guy who created them basically took the rights and refused to let Sega use them. And there was a little bit of truth to that, because apparently Sega used to have this policy back in the day where if you created a character for Sega, you owned the rights to that character. And
that is an incredibly dumb move for franchise creation, but I like it.
Well, yeah, but so this was a big rumor, and it never ever got confirmed or elaborated on until Sumo Digital came along and started to make the racing games. And Steve Lysett has gone, the executive producer of All Stars Racing and Racing Transformed, has gone on record to say, the only reason that Gilius and Panzer Dragoon Saga, who's the other one, Ulala, the characters from Space Channel 5, are in those games is because they had to send Sumo Digital employees out to random locations across the world to get approvals from people who no longer work at Sega, who have never worked in the video game industry for 20 to 30 years, to say, yes, you can use this character in the video game.
Is the Yogscast DLC?
That's very interesting.
The Yogscast DLC, is that still available on Steam?
I'll come on to that. I'll come on to that in a second, but the thing with that is Steve Lysett actually elaborated a bit on that. He said, it was quite funny because the guy that created, I think it was Gilius Thunderhead, the dwarf character from Golden Axe, apparently he's kind of a recluse now. He just lives in like a random cabin somewhere in a random forest in North America. So they spent like months trying to track him down just to get his approval. Like they could have probably put it in the game anyway and he wouldn't have cared, but as long as they've got the legal paperwork, they're pretty much covered. So they spent ages tracking him down, and then they eventually tracked him down to this random cabin, knocked on the door and said, "Oh, yeah, we're from Sumo Digital. We've been in touch. Can we get you to sign this paper, please, just so we could use Gilius?" And he was like, "Oh, yeah, I don't care. I keep telling them this. They can use it, do whatever they like with it."
What a cool guy.
Meanwhile, the lady who had a major hand in creating Ooh La La and some of the other characters from Space Channel 5, oh, he has words for her.
All right. What do you got? What
Yeah.
are those words?
Well, it's not really my story to tell, but let's just say she was incredibly picky. Like, there's a reason why certain characters like have very weird expressions on their faces, because the people that own them just refuse to let them look at anything else other than what pre-approved media that they've already signed off for says that they can use, which is why some characters in that game have very weird expressions, because it doesn't translate very well to that quality of 3D model.
Right. In today's
I
episode
wonder-
of The Creator doesn't always know what's best for the IP. What were you going to say, Trey?
Yeah,
Oh,
Oh,
I
sorry.
was just gonna say, like, I wonder what she, I wonder how she feels about this Space Channel 5 movie that they're trying to make.
Oh,
'Cause that
That
is
wasn't even a
happening.
thing.
Yeah, talking with my good friend Patrick, Corey Maru, who does a lot of like, Patrick, but no, but like we talk about the upcoming like kind of like, and like I'm pretty sure they're confirmed to be happening, but it is kind of rumor mill stuff at the same time. Like it could disappear tomorrow, and I'd be like, yeah, that makes sense. But there is apparently going to be like a Comic Zone movie and a Space Channel 5 movie. Comic Zone movie, I'm so down for. That's a great idea.
I swear to God, though, that every like 5 to 10 years, there's always a Sega movie announced.
Oh,
like,
no.
I'm sure I've
Yeah.
lived through at least 3 Golden Axe announcements and at least 1 Streets of Rage, and definitely an Altered Beast. It's like it just never comes out. So yeah,
And that's the thing. It's like I'm pretty sure this is stuff where it's like they have like people writing scripts and it's kind of rotating at the moment, and it's just kind of like up in the air. Again, it's still rumor mill, but
And they need
apparently
to,
they're
like,
trying to make a
really-
Space Channel 5 movie. So
They need to make those concepts feel kind of standalone as well, because I don't think the familiarity that Sonic and Mario would grant is going to necessarily apply to Space Channel 5.
that's what I was saying. Like,
sorry, yeah, I just realized I never sort of finished my point there about the Fang and Knack thing.
oh, go ahead. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
so so yeah, that's the point about how Sega characters are kind of owned by people. And the thing about Fang was it was sort of a urban legend for a long time, and then obviously it kind of went away because Ray and Mighty are on posters in Sonic Generations, and Ray and Mighty are back now. Well, there was a tweet the other day, and I can't remember the guy's name, but apparently he is the creator of Fang. And he sort of hinted, he basically posted, "Oh my God, I can't believe it. Like, 30 years after I created this character, I'm holding an action figure of him in my hand. This is wonderful. I'm so lucky." And somebody responded something about, why did it take 30 years for him to come back? And he actually said something along the lines of, "Oh, that's a story for another day, but it was a very long and complicated." So
I
it
love-
does make me wonder if there is, if that as well sort of ties into what does Sega actually own of their own things, because it was a little bit of a hint
Yeah.
that maybe we're actually quite lucky to get Fang in a modern game at all.
I just
mean,
love the idea of, like, how
probably.
come it took so long? IDK.
I forgot. Yeah.
I forgot. But okay, so why don't you tell us a little bit then about the Mclaren event, Dave? Because like that's like obviously the
Okay.
episode title's namesake. Sonic, as we know, has paired up with F1 Mclaren, which is
Right.
quite a major partnership. And as part of celebrations, they kind of had F1 come to London with Sonic, and you actually got to attend. I was at work. So what was that like?
Right, I'm just going to describe it. So everybody that's listening right now, I want you to stop what you're doing and listen to this. I'm going to describe to you the event, but if it was a Sonic event. imagine it. A free Sonic event held in Trafalgar Square, London. There is going to be attendances from Takashi Iizuka, Hoshino-san, all the major developers who have ever had a major hand on making Sonic. Yuji Naka is going to turn up despite the legal issues. All these people that you know are going to be there. The voice cast are going to be there. Voice casts from previous games who are no longer active are going to be there. There's going to be at least 3 unannounced brand new Sonic games that you can play there at the event for free. There's going to be themed food. Crush 40 are going to be playing a set every 30 minutes. There's going to be consoles from Sega's entire history, all with games on that you can play for free. There's going to be all these cool attractions and rides that you can go on, merch that's official that you can buy. You can get autographs from everybody I've just mentioned for free, and the entire event is free. Do you go to this event?
Something tells me none of that actually happened, though, did it?
Well, yes, it did. That's exactly what it was like. But now imagine everything I've just said isn't actually Sonic. It's for McLaren Formula F1 racing, and in the corner is a booth with Sega.
Oh, so
Probably
if
bigger,
you're a
if
fan
anything.
of McLaren,
The
if you're a
event,
fan of McLaren, then
Yeah.
it's great.
yeah, literally, it was fantastic. It was a brilliant event if you were into Formula One. And to be fair, like I watch Formula One. You know, I'm not a massive fan of it. Like I can't tell you who drives for which team or even which teams are in it. But if you were a fan of McLaren, it was incredible. It was just fantastic. It was kind of what you wish conventions and public events are, like a free event that you could just go to and meet all these famous people who you love. You get to see the cars up close. Like they had the actual F1 cars, but multiple. Like they had the F1 team, they had the F2, they even had the Formula E team, and even like the road car supercar that was there as well. And you could literally, like within a meter of them, like you couldn't go up and touch them, but you know you were so close to seeing them. And they even had the pit crew that would do live demonstrations of how they changed the tires on the cars, so you could actually see them doing it, how quickly it was. And when you consider it's like they can change 4 car tires in like less than a second.
Oh, it's exceptional.
It was just if you were into that kind of stuff, it was amazing. And then you had DJs were coming up and playing music, and then you had is it Alonso? I think he's one of, like I said, I don't know anything about F1 and I don't really know much about McLaren, but you had the drivers were coming up on stage talking to people, and then they were going and doing autographs as well, and like the pit crew was signing stuff. There was a merch booth where you could buy official McLaren merch from, and loads of people were doing it. And the other thing as well, which is quite cool, is because Formula One is sponsored by a lot of people, like McLaren is sponsored by Jack Daniels. Jack Daniels had a booth there, and you could get samples of the whiskey, and then you actually could buy it as well at a discounted rate if you liked it, which I thought that's a pretty damn cool idea and thing. And it was so incredible. And they had the trophy as well. Like they brought some of the trophies along that they'd won over the years, but they didn't have the Sonic one, unfortunately. But yeah, you could get like within a meter of it, and if you waited in a line, you could also literally stand next to this stuff and have your picture taken. And there were people there that even weren't a fan of McLaren. Like there was people there wearing Red Bull fan uniforms, and there was definitely a guy in a Ferrari jersey as well, but no one cared. Like everybody was really welcoming, and it was like you could have gone as the rival team and people would have sort of maybe jokingly booed you, but you know, everybody was really welcoming, and it was a really wonderful time. And for some reason, Sega had a booth there as well.
I guess it's just because they were in that partnership and stuff. I guess it is a good promo thing. I mean, yeah, McLaren and Sonic is quite a big get as well. And I remember seeing, like, there was that little render that they released as well, where Sonic is just standing front on.
Yeah, so...
And... Go on.
So this is where I kind of want to describe what the actual Sega booth was like, because I contacted loads of people to basically ask them, look, what is Sega going to be doing there? Because I'd really like to go and cover it, but yeah, it's a last minute trip, so it's going to cost quite a lot. Could you please give me some details? And nobody really seemed to know. And then all of a sudden, there was a newsletter that went out and said something about there'd be remote control cars. So I thought, oh, I wonder if they're going to theme like remote control cars around the Crossworlds vehicles. That could be something fun. Well, no, it wasn't quite that. So Sega's booth was quite this large thing, and you could see these people sort of sat up on a stage, and they were sat in like racing car chairs, and they had racing steering wheels in front of them. And I thought, oh my god, we're going to be playing a networked version of Crossworld, but using a steering wheel. That's cool. And then you got closer, and then I saw the Scale X trick. What it actually was, it was a huge model racing car track, and they had these like they were generic F1 racing cars that had tiny stickers on them of Sonic and the Sonic Racing Crossworlds logo. And what you had to do was you had to race everybody around this course, and if you won, you got a T-shirt and well, you got a T-shirt basically. But if you just took part, you also got that poster, that really cool print as well on some very nice high quality printed paper. And it was a lot of fun. Like it was absolute chaos. Like half the time you were watching these and everybody was spinning out, people were going backwards. There was so many crashes. It was just organized chaos, but it was a blast. I really loved playing it. Yeah, it was a lot of fun as well. And there was also some other stuff which you kind of tell they wanted to do, but because they drastically underestimated how many people were going to turn up, they just couldn't do it. Like there was a mini podium for first, second, and third, and every now and again they were putting people up there and taking their picture, but that quickly stopped happening just because it was taking so long to get people on this thing.
I get it, yeah.
And I went up on it, and I was with a friend of mine, and I ended up winning. And I got the T-shirt afterwards, and I was sort of on a massive high, and I was like, "Oh, this is fantastic! This is great!" And then we got given the Sonic manga as well, and this was interesting because there was a rumor going around that to get the manga, you had to actually win the race. So to win, if you won the race, you got the T-shirt and you got the copy of the comic book as well. But what actually happened is it wasn't quite as simple as that. You had to catch the eye of. They had someone there from the Sega of America community team. I think his name was Rich. I can't remember his surname, but he'd come over all the way from Burbank, and he was there to just basically hand people out the comic book if they were clearly Sonic fans. So we got talking to some of the reps, and I basically said, "Look, this is basically the reason I've come here today because I'm really into Sonic." And he was like, "Oh, really? What do you do?" So I said, "Oh, well, I do a YouTube channel. This is my channel." And with that, he sort of disappeared and then came back with the dev. And then the dev said, "Oh yeah, would you like one of these?" I was like, "Oh yes, please." So I got the comic book, and then we went up and did the race, and I ended up winning that, and I got the T-shirt as well. And the T-shirt is really amazing quality. Like, you know, when you go to these like gaming events or conventions, whatever, and you get the promo shirts, and it's like, oh, we've just bought these in bulk from a discount store and we've done a really basic print on it. Well, this thing was like, it was made by the actual company that makes the Formula One shirts that all the pit crew wear. And it had embroidered stitching in it for the label, and the print quality was amazingly well done. And it was like that polo shirt material, so it was really high quality. And I really wish I'd got one. I was able to get one in my size because I would be probably wearing it a lot because it's so good. And I was like, this is fantastic. This is such a really good event. And then the actual Sonic mascot came out as well, and it was the new mascot costume, which looks a lot better. And you could go get your picture taken with Sonic. And I was like, this is fantastic. What an amazing event. I love this. And then after a while, because it was really busy, me and my friend decided, let's go find some shade and we'll go sit down and have a drink and maybe get a bite to eat. And as we sat down, all of a sudden, we both sort of said at the same time, what the hell did that have to do with Sonic Racing Crossworlds?
I mean, could it not just be that the racing and the Sonic?
Well, here's the thing. The actual racing cars were just generic F1 cars. Like, you could barely see that they were decorated, that they had Sonic stickers on them, and you could barely see the Crossworlds logo.
Yeah, it
There
sounds
was
to me.
racing.
Go on.
Yeah, there was racing crossworlds imagery on the bottom of the booth, but here's the problem: you can't see the bottom of the booth because there's hundreds of people in front of the booth.
I
So
get
it
the
just
feeling.
looked
Go on,
like,
yep.
yeah, it just looked like you were racing F1 random stock F1 cars around, which, don't get me wrong, is really fun. But if the goal of this was to promote Sonic Racing Crossworlds, there was barely anything there. Even the print, it's a really cool print. The artwork is fantastic, but that vehicle isn't in Crossworlds.
Oh yeah, no,
McLaren
because
is
that's
not.
yeah.
Yeah, McLaren has not been announced for Crossworlds. Even the comic book has no reference to Crossworlds.
Is it possible though that maybe that might be one of the final DLC things? Because they haven't revealed all of them, have they?
It's very likely, but this is where I'm sort of really scratching my head on this why Sonic was at this thing. Now, let's just say it's a really cool announcement, but you had like I can't stress what happened on the first day that I went. The line for this was enormous because it turned out it was on for 2 days, and the first day they had all the F1 drivers were there. So Alonso was there, and the other guy was there as well. I can't remember his name, but they were only there for the first day because on the next day they were going to Silverstone for the Grand Prix. So they were only there once. So if you were a fan of McLaren, this was your only chance to go and meet them for free. So of course, everybody went on the first day. And the line to get in was extreme. Like if you know London, it went from Trafalgar Square around the back of the National Gallery, down multiple side streets, through Leicester Square, and then down into Chinatown.
Holy mackerel!
Yeah. And I spoke to one of the reps, and the rep basically said, we estimated that we might get 2,000 to 4,000 people attending. We've now revised that to over 7,000.
Wow.
Just on the first day. And you could tell because Trafalgar Square at one point got a little bit scary with how many people were actually in there. It was very packed as well, and all I could think of is, thank God the heat wave was over, because there would have been people going out on. Yeah, well, there would have been. It was basically it was the day after it was 33 degrees in London, so it was 22 to 24 degrees, and I just thought, thank God, because if they'd done this a day earlier, there would have been people going out in stretchers. It was that claustrophobic and that packed.
Yeah, I struggle with that kind of thing, so I'm actually kind of glad that I did end up going.
Here's the thing, just for the first day, you had 7,000 people at this public event, and one of the biggest booths was Sega, and you could barely see their new game.
Yeah, that's
There was
stupid.
no video. There was no video playing for it. There was no pod that you could actually play the game. There was no demo of it running, like on an autoplay.
It sounds like it was a last-minute thing. But then again, for how long this partnership's been announced, I suppose to coordinate an event like this does take maybe a bit more time than your usual garden variety event, but it does seem like a missed opportunity, from what you're describing.
It was crazy. I just couldn't believe that there was nothing there to actually incentivize anyone to buy Racing Crossworlds. To be fair to them, later on in the afternoon, they did bring the Sonic mascot out on stage, and I do have video of this, but I didn't shoot it, somebody else did, and I haven't watched it yet, but I don't really know what they're talking about. I think it's just literally like, oh, everybody, look, Sonic's here. So Sonic and McLaren are partnering up, and we're going to be the official gaming partner for Sega for the next however many years, and Sonic's got a new game coming out. I don't think they even played footage of it on the screen to all the people that were there. It was bonkers. It was like, imagine you're at a massive event with thousands of people and you have a booth and you just do not sell or even try to sell whatever it is you're promoting. It felt crazy just thinking about it in hindsight. There was nothing there.
That is weird because especially if you're marketing something. And again, this was like a McLaren event first, so I understand that. But
the only thing I can sort of put as a comparison to, at EGX, it's a gaming convention a few years ago. Sega had a booth, and it was a really really good booth. They had playable demos of the new Yakuza games, and they had Sonic Superstars was there. And then for fun, they had this like attack wall where you sort of have to hit the lights as fast as you can. Imagine for a minute, Sega had a booth there, but they didn't have the video games. They just had the attack wall, and then said afterwards, "Please go and buy Sonic Superstars."
Was the attack wall the same thing that they had at the Sonic 3 premiere?
Maybe
They had a Smack
No,
the Lights
it was a
game
different
there, and
one.
it had like Sonic and Shadow on it. So
yeah,
it was
that
Sonic
was a
3
different
themed.
one. That was like a cocktail table one. This was like a proper stand-up thing. But
Oh, damn.
that's the kind of mentality which you would be thinking, what is going on? You're at a major event and you don't have your video game. Like even as like an autoplay demo, it wasn't even there. And it was quite an elaborate operation, because just to play it, you had to scan a QR code and register. And then when you got actually on the pods, you had to sign in with the code that you got given and then enter your details. And that's how they tracked who was winning the race. And then they actually sent you a text message as well saying, "Congratulations, you came in X place and your fastest time was this." So it wasn't like we don't have time to put the logistics in here. You know, there was some logistics behind this, and it even said on the email that on the text that they sent, "Don't forget to purchase Sonic Racing Crossworld." And I was like, okay, I won't. But if I'd have just played this, I'd be like, "What's Racing Crossworlds?"
yeah, yeah, that's fair. It's all like maybe they were banking off the fact that if you were already going out of your way to like attend the Sonic side of stuff, then you already know what Sonic Racing Crossworlds is. Maybe, but that's bad. That's bad to assume that, anyways.
Yeah, it kind of
Yeah,
like
but
if you're
still.
assuming everyone knows about it and then you're holding a big marketing thing, it's kind of counterintuitive, I guess.
Yeah, but plus, don't forget, this was primarily a McLaren racing event. Like, Sonic was literally announced like 5 days before it was due to go on. The people that were going there were fans of F1 and McLaren. They weren't necessarily Sonic fans. And it just seems crazy. Like, why is the
And who
game
would-
not being
yeah.
promoted?
And who would want to be a Sonic fan? You know, so like that's another layer to this. You know,
Well-
like who would?
Well, this got me thinking as well. Like, I was talking to my friend afterwards, and we was like, "Do you know something? What is going on with them announcing all these partnerships and then nothing is happening? Because don't they also have something going on with, is it Red Bull Rally?"
I think there's that, and obviously they've also got the DC partnership going, which is bearing probably the most fruit of any of these partnerships so far.
Yeah,
Aside
think
from
the
the
DC
Nickelodeon.
we're going to see a lot more of the DC one very, very soon. Like, I mean, the action figures have been revealed. The comic is, I think there's like one more issue to go, and then
one left.
that's done.
I think
And it's been doing good. So.
I think there was
And then we're
there was a
probably going to
mention,
get an animated adaptation.
but there was a
Hooray.
But there was a mention in the Sonic Central back when this was announced. That kind of mentioned that there was a possible like sequel also in the works for Sonic X DC, which I'll be happy to see if that's the case, because I think this first one, it's laid down the fundamentals, but that's all it's done, and it's like we're at the end of it now, and it's like okay.
I'm kind of hoping that we might see something else, because the fact that we had that Shadow the Hedgehog animation that announced it, and I just thought, guys, come on, you've got DC animated stuff is really popular. Batman and the Turtles got an actual animated adaptation, and
They also did
I will
DC
say,
X Robbie.
yeah, I know we weren't going to talk about it, but the Metal Sonic and Batman fight, if you've read the Turtles and Batman fight in the comic book, the first encounter between Batman and Shredder, it isn't really an encounter. Shredder just comes, throws a shuriken to take out one of his Foot Clan soldiers who Batman's interrogating, and then he basically says, "You fight well, warrior, but stay away," and then he leaves.
You're
In
right.
the animation, they get a 3-minute fight scene, and it is one of the best fight scenes I've ever seen. It is so good. And all I'm thinking is, Oh, Metal Sonic versus Batman. Metal Sonic versus Batman animated. It's gonna be so good. It'll be so good, guys.
I feel
Trey,
like
it's
in-
gonna be so good.
It is.
Hold me, Trey.
I'm holding you.
It's gonna
Ah!
be so good.
It's gonna be so good. Ah! I think it is funny whenever like that panel came out of Batman wrecking metal shit, and this is coming from someone who's a massive Metal Sonic fan, someone who believed that Metal Sonic should have been in movie 3. It's Batman. You know, like Batman was not going to lose. I'm pretty sure there's a government issued like thing where he's like,
Oh, we all
Batman
knew
loses.
Batman wasn't gonna lose. It was just the fact that
he won by sitting
he
on him
lost
effectively.
like he lost like that.
Yeah, like,
Oh,
I feel
fair
like,
enough, yeah.
you know, Batman, like, if you actually had a Batman versus Metal Sonic fight, and here's the thing, I understand why they didn't do that, because the focus was, oh, it's got to be just the DC characters interacting with this, and every character gets, like, a page or two, right? That's the structure of it, and which leads me to continue to
Right.
believe that the structure of this thing, and how beholden it is, it's kind of, like, it feels like it's enslaved by its structure, more so than it is actually propped up by it. But, like, an actual Batman v Metal Sonic fight, you'd still see Metal Sonic hold his own. You'd see Batman use
Yeah,
some
like,
Right.
signal blockers
to
or
give you-
something, like to block his
To give
communications.
you an idea, if you haven't seen the Turtles and Batman animated adaptation, like literally just watch the Batman versus Shredder, the first fight, because it starts amazingly. There's a homage to the final fight between the Turtles and Shredder from the very first movie back in the 90s. And
Yeah.
then what's actually as they actually fight each other, you can see their fighting styles change and adapt during the animation. So Shredder starts off really forceful and aggressive, and
Mhm.
Batman actually has to adapt as he's fighting him. And then Shredder suddenly realizes, you can literally see it in his facial expression, this guy isn't like those teenagers who I'm usually fighting. This guy knows this guy knows his stuff. And you can literally see Shredder start to become a bit more standoffish, and Batman sort of responds in kind. And then as the
Right.
fight goes on, you can sort of see Batman start to tire. It's not like he's, it's done very subtly. And at that point, Batman begins to make mistakes.
Yeah.
And the amazing thing is, he loses the fight.
They gave Shredder a ton of respect there.
Yeah,
which
it is so good. It's so
yeah.
well animated.
I don't think the Sonic X DC crossover has given a lot of its villains a great deal of respect, and I understand that's not the focus. It already has a main villain with Darkseid, but I'm always kind of like, oh god, how much of a cop-out is that going to be? I guess
all
we'll
I can
see.
think of is, if this is good enough to get an actual adaptation, oh my god, those extended sequences are going to be so good. They're going to be so good. Trey, they're
It's
going to be
gonna
so good.
They're gonna be so good. Yes, I agree. Yes, absolutely.
Ray, you alright there?
Oh.
You okay? Stranger danger? You good? You
No, I'm
want some
doing good.
popcorn?
I'm doing great.
Hey,
Sure.
Hey,
Pop.
hey, Dave, wasn't the Sonic 3 premiere just so much fun?
It was lovely. It reminded me that life could be good.
Wasn't that just so
So
much
true.
fun, wasn't it? God, it would suck
Are
to
you-
have
are
not
you-
been there.
Are you? Yeah, I know. Everyone in this call has been there. Obviously, who hasn't? Who hasn't been there? Who hasn't been to the Sonic Movie 3 premiere? Everyone here has. Yep.
It was great
It's so
seeing you,
nice.
Trey. It was great seeing.
It was
Huh?
nice. I was treated like I was important for once.
Dude, the food
Oh,
and
yeah.
the fucking balcony was so bougie. Like, I felt like a movie star myself. Got to walk the blue carpet. How fucking cool was that?
That was really cool, except me and my plus one got a little bit screwed over with that.
Oh no.
So I'm not sure how this happened, but we basically were like, wait, how do we even get on the blue carpet? Because I imagine there's a lot of security and we kind of need to be chaperoned there. So we found the rep lady who handed out the movie ticket. So we were basically like, how do we get there? And she said, oh, I'm going to be leading everybody over, so just follow me. So me and my plus one followed this lady through like these back alleyways to get to Leicester Square. And we had like this mass amount of people following us. And it was like something from a cartoon. We got to Leicester Square and she was like, right, here we are. She turned around and said, where the hell is everyone? And then we turned around and there was no one there. There was like 30 people following us who were all from this event and they'd all just vanished. And then
Oh,
she was
shit.
like, and then she got to the actual start of the red carpet. Now, this was the area where a lot of people were sort of peeking over the bin bag fence. You know, they had that fence with the bin bags on, so random people
Mhm.
couldn't peek in.
Yeah.
We were sort of standing there. It was near where the big Greg's is. And me and my +1, I sort of whispered to her, I don't think she knows where to go. And she whispered back, I think you're right. So we ended up walking through Chinatown, and we went to this completely different entrance that was away from where all the movie stars were signing autographs. This
Oh,
was the area where
bummer, dude.
Yeah, this is where everybody else splintered off. So they got to walk down the bit with the movie stars where all the world's media were taking their picture. And we came in through the other end. Now, the other end was really cool because it had the giant mural of the Sonic movie poster. And we got our photo taken there by somebody who I have no idea what press agency they were with, but I've not been able to find these pictures since. But then we just kind of walked straight in. But
You're
there
in
wasn't
somebody's
really
wank bank now, Dave.
Oh dear.
Oh God, that's terrifying. By the
If
way,
me, my leather jacket does that for them, fire away.
You are to that person what Rouge the Bat is to me. Also, I noticed you finally admitting that she's hot as fuck.
No. It's my fictional anime wife would not approve of that.
Look,
But
dude.
anyway,
well,
Okay, well that's fair.
regardless-
She's my anime.
Oh. Yeah. I gotta get going for just a second. I gotta actually gotta get in a call with my lead singer and everything. Talk about stuff for band practice in just a little bit.
Oh,
I'll try to be back.
Trey, I
because-
perform. Oh.
I
I gotta
is
get in the
everything
band.
is everything that I do just like
Trey's gonna be in the
oh,
band because his dad's out for the night.
I've been in the band for 8 years. No, I'm
Trey is
kidding,
gonna
but,
put his penis in a lot of women tonight, guys.
Nope, that's not true. Nope. Just men.
God, what's happening?
Just men. Yep.
Of course,
Just
you
men, I like
gotta
that.
have the ceremonial butt fucking after the
Yeah.
practice. Yeah.
I love kissing men. No, but I do gotta get going in just a little bit. Hopefully, I'll be back soon. If not, though, love you all. Dave, it was great finally meeting you and talking with you and everything. Like this has been fun. Yeah. Sorry, I've been kind of silent. I just didn't have much to add. So like that's just.
But
you know,
we're
how it
talking
goes
about
sometimes.
Sonic Rumble. Don't you want to stay and talk about Sonic Rumble?
I will
Or
talk
Tails
about it once
Tube.
it releases.
Oh yes.
Oh yeah. Well, Tails Tube. Okay. Here's my thoughts on Tails Tube. I thought it was just very cute and charming. I've kind of grown past the like, kind of taking it super duper seriously, if that makes sense. Because like I think there was like this like expectation that Tails Tube was going to be kind of like an end all be all for lore, and I guess that's kind of like what they wanted to do at first. But as we've seen, they've kind of backpedaled on a lot of that stuff. So now I just find it to be just a cute kind of thing, and it's fun.
Yeah. We should talk about Tails too, but then maybe Trey can come back and
Well, I mean,
hear
we're going
about
to. That's literally the next
madness
one.
that is Sonic Rumble's current state.
Yeah, I
Sure.
can't wait for preseason 17. That'll be awesome. But anyways, just want to say
It's never
love
coming
y'all.
out.
It's never coming out. I think they think it's already out. I think that they're just treating it like it's out. Like that's just what it is.
We gotta
but
reactivate
yeah.
the alarm clock. But Trey, yeah, did you need to run?
Yeah, I do need to run. Hopefully I'll be back before y'all sign off. But if not, then this was fun.
Oh, don't worry, I'm talking. We're not going anywhere for another 5 hours.
Oh, hang
Oh,
on a minute
perfect,
now. I don't
yay.
have all the time in the world. Oh, fuck it. All right, farewell, Trey.
Oh, fuck. All right.
Anyway,
bye
bye-bye,
bye.
Trey.
Bye.
What an idiot. Well, yeah, Tails Tube, right?
Tails Tube.
So this is fascinating. I have no idea what to expect from you. Like here, like
Am
what...
I the only one that thinks these are just charming little shorts to try and entertain people that we really shouldn't be taking as seriously as I think we are?
I think you're
I
right.
think they're fine.
Like, so here's the thing. I kind of resent that, like, the earliest episodes kind of set out rules that it didn't follow, because it felt like the whole purpose of this thing was to kind of reset what continuity means to Sonic and reinstate, you know, reinforce certain things. But now we've seen that they haven't really held to those things, so it kind of feels a bit pointless. But I think there's kind of like the Gen 1, and that's where they're doing a lot of setup. But then there's kind of what I consider to be the Gen 2, where it's just more like we get to see the characters interact for a bit. Now, there have been ones I've liked better than others. I was a bit worried about the Sonic and Shadow rival episode based on like whether or not it was indicative of how they'd be portrayed in the games going forward. Because I am not massively fond of Sonic being outright antagonistic towards Shadow. Like, that's just not the way I've ever interpreted their dynamic. But, like, there are ways to go. Like, I remember, like, I think the Christmas episode where Sonic calls Shadow a starfish. And it's like, it's funny, but that was just completely unnecessary. This latest one, though, I actually really like this one. I think this is my favorite of the Tails tubes.
I'm gonna be real with you. I think I've watched 2 episodes of it. I watched the first one, and I watched another episode. I don't know which one it was, but the only reason I watched this is because I was doing research for my Sonic Adventure 2 video, and there was a really great clip which sort of supported something I was saying, and it was the one where Eggman basically says what he did to Gun during Sonic Forces.
Oh, yeah,
Because
I remember that. Yeah, he put them in their place.
And here's the thing. The thing with Tails Tube is my reaction to it is kind of similar to The Boys on Amazon. I watched it, I enjoyed it, I went to bed, and then I completely forgot everything about it.
I mean,
I never thought about it again.
It's disposable, hence why it's all like VTuber style as well. It's quick to produce.
I think,
and it just allows to keep, you know, the Sonic cast in pop culture. It gives people a little something to kind of just watch and stay entertained. Like, I always enjoy the Twitter takeovers a lot because I enjoy seeing. Yeah, go on. My
initial thought of it, like when I was looking at the clip for the Sonic Forces clip, for example, and this is kind of how I thought they would all be, and honestly, if this is the intention, then this is fine. It was just the biggest thing to take out of it is maybe some little plot filler bits of information, like because people used to always go on about what happened to Gun during Sonic Forces. Oh, here's a Tails tube in which Eggman says, "I put them in their place."
It clears some things up.
You've just solved the plot hole and added a little bit of world building, and that's fine. That's good. That's nice. We don't really need anything else from them. I don't really care if they're not quite acting exactly as they have done for God knows how many years, or would Sonic really say that? Would Sonic really do that? I'm thinking, if that's what you're taking from this, I think you're watching it for the wrong reason.
The thing is, I think Tails Tube was initially set out as a bit of a mission statement for the new era of Sonic, and that they are now kind of taking the storytelling a bit more seriously and considering the bigger picture. Because, like, yeah, the first episode talks a lot about, like, the Sonic world and the humans living in some territories and the animals living in others. And then, like, episode 2, you explore, like, why Dr. Eggman is called Dr. Eggman now. And, Episode 3 was like, classic Sonic is definitely from the past, guys. He's not from a different dimension. So they kind of set out to, like, put a lot of things into a more sensible order that they were presumably going to follow going forward. So I think, given that they kind of served as kind of a mission statement, or that's at least the impression they made, I think people do get a bit bothered when the characters are on there and they feel maybe a bit mischaracterized in parts, which I don't think is as often as I think like a lot of people say. I will say I think Shadow doesn't always get the best rap in Tails Tube. I've noticed a bit of a formula that feels a little bit mean-spirited of like basically Shadow will show up to something because he's been invited by Tails against his own will, and then Sonic will say something fucking mean to Shadow, and then he leaves, and then everyone laughs about it. It kind of feels like laughing at the introvert, but also I'm kind of like, man, I don't know. I just feel like Sonic's banter with Shadow shouldn't quite reach to the point of Sonic being outwardly antagonistic towards him. However, the latest episode did it well.
When Sonic chats with Tails and Amy, everybody goes, "Oh, that's the Sonic we know and love." When Sonic chats with Shadow, it's Fleetway Sonic.
It seems to be the case.
And you all cheer it. But if I say Fleetway Sonic is the best, you call me a tarnisher of God.
No, but it just feels kind of mean-spirited, because it's like, Amy is also very much group mum characterized. This is, like, the epitome of like the modern interpretation of Amy Rose is in these shorts, as she kind of sometimes puts Sonic in his place or will put Knuckles in his place. However, like, Shadow will show up to something against his will to be a good sport, and then Sonic will be like, Shadow, your dad's a bitch, fuck off. Shadow leaves, and then even Amy's like, oh, that's Shadow, Sonic, you're so silly. But what the fuck is this? Do they just bully him? Like, I don't know. I don't feel too comfortable with that, I guess.
I don't know. Like the first time I watched it, my initial thought was this was just a nice little bit of filler for people that they might enjoy, maybe get a laugh out of every now and again, and for people that really cared about the wider lore implications, there might be something to fill a plot hole or two. I don't quite get or understand the whole, oh, these characters aren't acting right, or this is not what Sonic would say or what Sonic would do. I'm just sort of thinking, I'm not too sure that's really the intention of these. I think they're just fine, but
I think it's because they initially set out to kind of put things into a definitive order. It's like, if you're kind of doing that and kind of saying, like, this is how things work, you kind of expect the characterization to probably represent the most archetypical version of them. Like, this is not the kind of area where I think, like, new take would necessarily work. That being said, that's just one part that I'm not fond of. I don't like Sonic openly antagonizing Shadow, and I don't like Sonic openly acknowledging that the two of them don't get along like he does. He's like, oh, we don't always get along, and we don't really respect each other, and then later on he's like, but deep down we got a little respect, and it's like, that's not my read at all, not even close. And it's like, it's okay, that's not my read, I don't expect it to be. But
I think with that as well, that's clearly a directional issue. Like, it's the whole issue of, okay, do we treat every Tails tube as somebody's first, or do we assume everybody knows quite a bit about these characters and their history? And I think with that is they're trying to sort of bridge that of, oh, well, we might have people that see this that know nothing about Sonic, so we better quickly put that in there.
Yeah. I have no idea. Like, maybe, yeah, these things can be subject to rewrites and stuff, so I tend to not get personal in my criticism, like a lot of Twitter has recently, as they've directed a lot of hate towards Ian Flynn because of that previous Tales Tube episode when Ian Flynn didn't even write the fucking thing. And people who work with Ian Flynn have spoken out and said he's a good guy. The fact that it's got to a point where people that work with him are speaking out in his defense because of a short he didn't fucking write says all that needs to be said about this fucking Sonic writing discourse.
When I heard, because I was like, when people were like, I saw a lot of people saying it. Like, I made the tweet about it, how, that 4 people said, oh yeah, I'm not a fan of Ian Flynn's work, and it was either blatantly referencing it, or it was like in the middle of a thread about the Tales Tube episode. And there was so many others that I could have picked to sort of highlight it. And when I pointed out, yeah, Ian Flynn didn't write this episode, but the person that confirmed it, because the Tales Tube doesn't have credits, like there's no credits at the end of it.
Tyson Hess confirmed it, didn't he?
Yeah, well, yeah, Tyson Hess confirmed it, but even in the video description, there's no credits there. And the person that told me was Kazi, who helps, I think she helps with the Blumcast, which is Ian Flynn's podcast. And she told me, like, before people were saying, oh, Tyson Hess has confirmed he was the one, she told me, no, he didn't do this. It's nothing to do with Ian. And I think she said later as well, apparently Ian's found this whole thing very funny, the fact people think it was him.
Yeah,
so
I get
I'm glad
it.
he's laughing about it. And honestly,
yeah.
I think I'd be laughing my head off as well. If
no, it's
thought
hilarious.
It was me.
It's so funny when you get...
I'm laughing at the reactions I'm getting at the minute to daring to suggest that the characters that are licensed might not be lasting very long. So, yeah, I can only imagine how Ian Flynn's reacting to this.
No, dude, it's so fucking funny. But here's the thing is, I was fucking fine with this version of Tales Tube. I'm at a point now where it's like the 2000s interpretations of these characters, the ones in, like, Sonic X, are to me the de facto versions of the characters. And that's ultimately what I'd like to see them be. And, you know, like, I think the most clear indication of that is, like, Amy in that recent Tales Tube. But I'm also willing to accept this new version, like where Sonic is a bit more wordy, I guess. He's a bit more chatty and talkative. He's not, the guy that's, if he's not napping, he's off on his own adventuring. And, like, obviously we've seen a very new side to Amy as well, in that she, like, calls Sonic out on things, and she's not so desperate to be with him and stuff like that. And I think we've been seeing a lot of complaints leveled towards just the direction that this is moving in now. And Tails Tube has gotten the brunt of a lot of that. But in this case, I saw a new side to Sonic that I really enjoyed, and that was Sonic being a little goblin in this episode. Like, I love Goblin Sonic. How he was so mischievous, with how he'd outright kind of just teach the audience to manipulate Knuckles and Amy. And then when it comes to Shadow, he turns it into a crank call. I'm fucking fine with that. I'm genuinely A-okay with that. Like, crank calls versus outright antagonism, two different things as far as I'm concerned. But, like, his dynamic with Amy there, when he's being a bit of a rascal, she's like, hey, are you saying that thing to get me to like you and stuff? I could tell people were going to have problems with that. I could tell that was going to be the brunt of a lot of discourse. But in this moment, Sonic is being a mischievous little fuck, and I gotta admit, I prefer this Sonic characterization to the kind of almost messianic Sonic that we've had in kind of recent years, And if he's actually kind of funny and seems to be enjoying himself, then I'm all here for it. Like, Roger Craig Smith, very natural performance this episode. So, yeah, I just enjoyed Sonic.
For me, I just don't know if I care too much to care about it. It's funny. Like, I haven't watched the new one. Like, all I did is when it came out, I just do what I do with every single Tails Tube. I grab the video slider, move it along, just to see if there's anything in there that looks like it might be something of interest. Like, oh, is this some character art I've not seen before? Is this, oh look, there's some new artwork. Oh, there's one of Rouge, contract lawyer Rouge. Oh, that's cool. And or like
alone,
like
bro.
when there was the like when the silence like when there was the what's her name, lady who appeared in the Sonic movie,
Professor
does she have a
Tori.
name? That's the one, yeah. Like her, for example. Oh, who's that? That's some cool art. That's some
Well,
cool
I also
artwork we
remember,
haven't seen
like,
before. Or,
how...
oh, there's some extra. Here's some lore about a video game that fills in the plot hole. Whenever I see something like this, I kind of watch it once, and then it's like, I'll say, okay, what's the intention of this? And for me, what I got out of it was just a little thing to put out to maybe fill in a few bit of backstory blanks, maybe expand a little bit on the backstory and the depth of some of the characters. But I don't think we, as the audience, are meant to take it anywhere near the level of seriousness as some people certainly are.
That's completely fair. I mean, I remember seeing people angry that it's like, oh my god, did they really tease Professor Tori only for her to be revealed in a Tails Tube? It's like, dude, she made her very first appearance in a Tails Tube. Like, so, like, it honestly makes sense. I think it's the kind of thing where they're a little better than they need to be, these Tails Tubes. I have been following them, and I would say, like, they can be a little hit and miss, but they are fun. Like, they're fun, they're better than what they actually need to be. Like, they are trying to make these things kind of matter, even though they are just some quick and cheaply made entertainment, made to really advertise. So I do recommend checking them out if you do just want to sit with the characters a little more and get a little glimpse at kind of more of what to kind of expect. And I think that's the main reason why people get so antsy about these Tails Tubes, is because they have so far been kind of indicative of what to expect in a lot of regards. Others, not so much. But I think we do need to maybe take a step back and say, like, yeah, even if it is a little indicative of the future, like, there's no saying that it's not going to work, Like,
Gat, write in the comments what you want and demand from these free short videos that are made to be put on social media, twitter.com. It's to me, when I look at these, what they kind of remind me of is like video adaptations of, we kind of do still get these, but not as often as we used to do. Do you remember when in the 90s you'd get stuff like the Story of Sonic book, or the famous one is the Stay Sonic book, and it would have like all this stuff, which yes, it was from Sega, but there was some artistic um license there as well, which was like, oh, what does Sonic enjoy doing? Or here's where Sonic grew up, and here's where Sonic hangs out. Here's how Sonic and Tails meet. Like, there's like 60-70% truth there, and then there's like 30% a little bit of artistic flair and license. Like, that's kind of how I just view these Tales tubes. They're just basically like video adaptations of those old books that we used to get, just to expand a little bit. Like, you're not supposed to take them as 100% accurate, or get too upset if Sonic isn't quite acting as you like, or if Amy is not as the character you want her to be, or if Shadow is a bit of a butt of a joke, or whatever.
I think
I really don't.
I think there's
I don't know,
probably just some confusion as to what this is meant to represent, because a lot of people, myself included, kind of read Tales Tube as like, we're bringing you up to date with what like the franchise looks like right now, effectively, and characterization will kind of come with that. And there has been a lot of discussion of that on social media, but I think you've kind of read it as like, yeah, it's effectively an animated version of those little Sonic storybook things that, would take artistic license with the character. And I think what it kind of boils down to is maybe it's just a little unclear to what extent, like, Tales Tube is trying to do things. Like, is it trying to be indicative of the future, or is it just this little thing that takes its own artistic licenses with the characters and stuff like that? I think the fact that we were both able to have two very different extrapolations shows that maybe there is a slight lack of intent in the premise, or a clear intent anyway. But I do like these things.
Well, I'm just not. I mean, some of the major discourse which has kind of spun off from this, like, oh, let's just rip the Band-Aid off. Let's talk about Amy. So, Amy is a character that I really like. Like, in both my in my Sonic Adventure and my Sonic Adventure 2 through the Looking Glass videos, there's chapters in there that's just dedicated to Amy's portrayal, because Amy's kind of not had a great portrayal for a long time, because it's oh god, it's so complicated to trying to explain this, but like, a lot of people seem to want Amy to be madly in love with Sonic and chasing him around still, and yeah, there was a bit of that at one point, but that does kind of get old very quickly. And when you look at something like, say, Sonic Adventure and even Sonic Adventure 2, yeah, Amy still likes Sonic a lot, but she is kind of more towards where they're taking her character now. Like, she's going off on her own to do stuff. I mean, the joke in Sonic Adventure is she's trying to go off and do her own thing, but the guys keep leaving her behind, and she ends up becoming frustrated, and because the animation in that game is not very good, it makes her look like a spoiled child throwing a tantrum.
It's so funny. I just want to smack her. But
whereas in Sonic Adventure, it's the exact opposite. Like, you can see her slowly transitioning from the girl that was sort of reliant on Sonic, who was madly in love with him, who still does like him, but she's growing to be someone who, oh, I want to go off on my own and do things. Like, I mean, she's the one that makes the decision to go into Eggman's base with the birdie, and she's the one that basically decides, I'm going to protect it throughout the rest of the game.
Well, she
and
even
now when you look at...
she even says, though, at the end of her story in Sonic Adventure 1, she even implies that one day she will move on from Sonic. Because she says, like, by then it will be too late. Like, she knows that she is worth more than this already.
Yeah,
it's why I really reject the common argument that, like, OG Amy was problematic or controversial. I completely reject that. It feels repressive. But, I mean, I will say, it goes too far in Sonic Battle. Sure. Like,
well, when you look at Sonic Adventure 2, Amy's portrayal in that game really isn't great, and it's kind of primarily due to her characterization. But when you actually bullet point down what she does, the first thing that she does is she breaks into a military base on her own.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I do like
And,
Sonic
yeah,
Adventure 2's
and then
Amy.
she makes the mistake. Oh, hi, Sonic. Wait, you're actually Shadow. Oh my god, it's Dr. Eggman. Run away screaming. Yeah, it's not brilliant. But then what happens after that? She crawls through an air vent. And she does do this because if you listen to the sound effects, you can actually hear the sound of an air vent opening and falling when she drops down in front of Sonic's
Oh yeah,
cell.
no, she literally falls through,
Mine
yeah.
Sonic breaks him out of his jail cell with a key card that she stole from somebody. And I'm like, dude, this is awesome. And then throughout the rest of the game, yeah, she's with the guys, and yeah, the joke is, oh, the guys keep leaving her behind, but she's always catching them up. She's always there, and then she's the only one that shows kindness and empathy towards Shadow, which is what breaks him out of his his mind control. Ooh, that's another controversial one that people don't like.
These are all actually very good points, though, to be honest. And I still think the mind control thing's a fucking crackpot theory. Fuck you. But the whole Amy thing.
He literally says it in the game.
Nah, we're just gonna ignore it, man. It's a mistranslation. Well, anyways, Amy. For a while, I guess I was kind of like, I actually enjoyed the tarot powers in Sonic Frontiers from like a gameplay standpoint anyway. But I was kind of like, oh man, giving Amy like superpowers maybe undercuts her kind of status as the every person of like the Sonic universe. How like, you know, we're introduced to her in Sonic Adventure as a bored girl with her groceries and shit, and she's heading back to her apartment. And I kind of liked that every woman status that she had. But now that you mention it, yeah, she did escalate into something else in Sonic Adventure 2. Like, she does kind of become a little more badass there. And yeah, I guess this has been a natural trajectory that I guess I should just enjoy. It is cool that she's had some development. It's a shame, though, that into her current incarnation, the one that's moved on from Sonic now, it's a shame that we didn't really get to see that development, but then also Superstars kind of undercuts that by making Amy super powerful and important to the story as well. So it's a very tricky thing what they're trying to do with Amy.
I kind of think that there's, I kind of have this theory that there's certain things that people remember or had a bit of an impact, whether it's good or bad, and then that kind of sets the tone for a very, very long time. And when it comes to Amy, I think a lot of people have in their head, there's that cutscene in Sonic Heroes where Amy says, Sonic, you're not getting away this time. You're gonna marry me. Cue the boss fights. And I think that is kind of sets her tone for a while as well. And it's further cemented as well by what was going on with her in Sonic X. Yes, there's a lot of stuff which is very charming and very sweet. But yeah, she did have a bit of a reputation for being a bit of a psycho in that. Which again, it was very funny.
Though I see it as
it's funny, and it's not, it's not done maliciously. But when you sort of add this stuff together, it paints a picture of what she is, and I kind of think that did set her on this, not necessarily a road, but this like mindset with a lot of people on the fans that, oh, this is what she is, and certainly in Frontiers, but I think you could probably argue this started in Forces when she kind of stepped up and
she's not like
she basically steps up.
Yeah, but one thing real quick I wanted to kind of say is like I still don't think Sonic X Amy was in any way problematic as well. Like, I think when people call her psycho and stuff, they often reject the fact that Knuckles and Rouge will have the slightest disagreement in that show and beat the shit out of each other. Sonic and Knuckles will have the slightest disagreement and will beat the shit out of each other. And I don't understand why it's suddenly a problem when Amy engages with that. Like,
well, I think it's kind of a memory thing. It's like oh god, I'm gonna give an example and it's horrible and I can't think of any other one, but it will sort of cement my theory, the thinking with this. You know, in the movie The Silence of the Lambs,
sure,
how it's a little bit problematic for people for let's say trans representation.
Okay.
Now, the thing is, the movie makes a big point of saying, no, people who are trans they're very. I think her actual line of dialogue is something like, they generally seem to be very passive in nature. They're very kind. They're normally very they're normally very accepting of others because they themselves desperately want to be accepted. They make a point to say people who are trans are not weird. They're not something that you should fear. They're not something that, you know, is bad by inheritance or whatever. You know, I can't remember it word for word. They make that really clear. But audiences don't remember that. They remember the end of the movie where Buffalo Bill is wearing what he's wearing and screaming really loudly as he abuses that poor woman in the pit.
I mean, also,
And it's kind of the same. It's kind of the same for Sonic X. Like, people remember specific moments more than they do all this other stuff. And
but I think
unfortunately, all the other stuff kind of cements her character more. But you're more likely to remember Amy doing the Amyisms, let's just say.
But I think that's the thing, though, is
I just want to say, I apologize profusely for that example, but I literally cannot think at the moment of.
I mean, to me,
gets the point across.
To me, Falling Down sprung to mind. Like, people like, oh, Defense is kind of racist, isn't he? And I was like, yeah, he's a by-the-book American in the time, and he's supposed to be emblematic of that incredibly conservative value. Like, so yeah, like, sure, he would do that. I don't know why people consider Falling Down to be problematic, but I think the position a lot of Amy fans are in, or fans of that version of Amy anyway, is why is it that people who have misremembered who this character is are getting a say on the future of the character? And that is not an Amy-specific conversation. That happens to a lot of things in fiction. But it's like, yeah, like, why should the people who don't understand the character be the ones who kind of define what the conversation surrounding the character is? And I do think it is a bit of a shame. But to be honest, especially after our conversation now, my problem with modern Amy is not the superpowers or the fact that she's moved on from Sonic. In fact, I think that's perfectly healthy. I think, if anything, they've shown the fondness is there, but she's capable of happiness with or without him. And I think that's very healthy. I think that's really nice. I like the idea that Amy could have a happy ending for herself, regardless of Sonic. And I think that's exactly what they've set up with that. I think that's wonderful. What I don't like is how they've declawed her. I think the precedent of taking the hot-headed girl character and making her not hot-headed anymore is inherently problematic. There's no shame in being a little hot-headed if it's in, like, a healthy dose, and this is a fucking cartoon, so, like, everything's gonna be a little exaggerated in terms of emotions and personalities. So I just think, like, Amy saying to Jet in Crossworlds, in the spirit of the competition, I wish you a good race, but keep the trash talk to a minimum, please. I'm just like, fuck me. Amy would be saying, I'm gonna cook you, you fucking turkey. You know, like, I like it when she has a bit of spunk, a bit of attitude to her, and it's losing that which kills it.
I mean, I do as well. I'm just not sure we've really seen it. I mean, with that one, the Crossworlds discourse around some of the dialogue the dialogue things between the rival battles, again, it kind of comes back to my whole point of, okay, why is this dialogue here? What's the point of it? And the point of it is just, it's just to give you an audio cue that there's like a boss/rival fight that's about to start.
Flavor text,
I don't think you're supposed to take it. I don't think you're supposed to take it too seriously. But no, I understand what you mean, because it's like at the end of Sonic Adventure, when Amy's been kind of kind and caring to this bird throughout the whole thing, and she's like, "It's your family, go fly with them, yay!" And she's really happy, and then Zero attacks and knocks the birdie out. And she's like, "Oh my god, are you okay? Are you okay?" And you can literally see the rage build up in her when she turns around and faces Zero. Like, everything about her characterization, the voice delivery, all of it, it just flips. And she's not crazy. She's mad. She's angry. She's just full of rage. And
she's also so protective. Like, a lot of her rageful outbursts were always when someone else was going under harm.
Yeah. And I like that. I don't want that to go away either. But at the same time, I'm not entirely sure Amy's had quite a moment where she's really had to demonstrate that rage or
no,
anger,
that I
really.
also agree with. Like, Frontiers,
there
for
certainly
example,
wasn't Yeah, there
Like-
was nowhere in Frontiers for her to do that.
Frontiers did not accommodate for an Amy that goes, Sonic! Runs up to him, gives him a fucking tackle hug.
Oh, is she here?
And she's like, oh, jeez, Amy, it's not that game. Frontiers was a mumble rap Sonic story, effectively. And so we got a suitably mumble rap Amy in that one. It is funny how the conversation is always focused on Amy. Little animal scrimbly jimblies running around being a bit violent towards each other, but yet we'll single Amy out. The scrimbly jimblies suddenly get very serious, and now we're singling Amy out.
I mean,
I
the
didn't
thing- the
have
thing
a
with,
problem with it in Frontiers.
The thing with Amy's characterization in Frontiers as well is it's again, this is from my video that I'm working on. When you actually look at her story as well, it's actually one of the it's something that I actually praise quite a lot for. As
It's
much
one
of
of
a
the
critic as I
stronger
am on-
parts of that story.
Yeah, well, it's not just that. It's stronger as well for how it tricks you, the player, because when you start Frontiers, it's a very low stakes video game. I'm not sure if you really realize this.
Oh
It's
yeah, they're
like
just on a
Sonic
trip.
goes, where's my friends? I don't know. I better find them. Oh, what's that? Big robot. Oh, I'm going to fight the big robot. Oh, Amy's in the ball. Okay, Amy's out the ball. Oh, Amy, what's wrong? Are you ghosty? Yeah, I'm ghosty. How do you
It's-
feel? And Amy's constantly like, oh, yeah, I feel ghostly, but I'm kind of fine. Oh, I wonder if I can turn you back to normal. I don't know. Why don't you go and find out? But otherwise, I'm doing great.
It's
And
not
then this
until...
goes on and on. Well, this goes on and on and on throughout the whole thing. And you kind of, when you're playing the game, you kind of don't think, what is the threat here? Like, Eggman's not trying to take over the world. There's no big major evil. I'm just trying to restore my friends. You know, there's not really any major stakes.
Yeah, it's still very unsuspecting or very calm before the storm, I
And-
guess.
And then you get to the scene with the flowers,
Yep.
and Amy can't pick the flowers.
Well,
And
I
she
think...
looks devastated.
Well, there's
And
more
then
than
all
that.
of a sudden, that's the moment where it goes, oh, if I don't beat this game, if I don't do what I have to do, these characters are stuck like this.
True, true.
That's a problem. And yes, it's not, oh, the
It's
world
compelling.
is ending, but it's still it's a different kind of stake. It's an emotional stake. It's like, if you care anything about these tiny little fictional characters, you're now gonna you kind of have motivation to help them make their lives better for just a few moments. Yeah, I know it's a fictitious video game, but that's kind of the thing. It's not like the world's in danger, you must save it. It's no, you're trying to basically improve the lives of these small individual characters for just a few moments. Like, it's not until way later into the final island that all of a sudden the big bad appears, and now there's like a major threat that you have to deal with. The
And
main
it's actually
driving force is,
tangible now.
yeah, the main driving force is, I just want to help improve the lives of these tiny little NPC characters, and that's
Well, I think the
perfectly
point-
fine. And
The point
and
with...
it's Amy's character it's Amy's story that's kind of the catalyst for that. You kind of have to set
Yeah.
that up as carefully as you can, because the irony is, when you look at Knuckles' story, I think Knuckles had the potential for more dramatic change to his character, because when you look really carefully at that, it's almost like Knuckles is punishing himself, because there's hints that he feels guilty about
Yeah.
the fact he wasn't with his people when they met their demise. And is he guarding the Master Emerald because it's a sense of duty, or is he guarding it as a sense of punishment?
It was a very cool place to take Knuckles. He probably has one of my favorite arcs in that game.
And yeah,
But I
and
was
then-
going to say
and then he goes off, and
quickly,
he says, "Oh, I'm gonna
quickly
go off on a-"
before we fucking move on to yet another character, I just wanted to say the point where Sonic Frontiers' story really shows its hand is when Amy witnesses the two Coco people die, and they die together. That's the point where I think she realizes, oh shit, I might not make it out of here alive. I need to reevaluate where I'm at, you know?
Yeah, I think so. Or I'm not sure. I think for me, the thing that I got from that is, that's kind of the moment where she sort of realizes, definitely, as much as I love Sonic, I could be helping make the
Others.
lives of other people
Yeah,
a
like
lot
their
better than I am
disagreement,
right
and
now.
there's also that, and also like her kind of seeing the love between those two Cocos and realizing she's not really gonna have something like that with Sonic because that's not who Sonic is.
Yeah, maybe, but I think as well it's like a whole thing. It's like a whole long thing that Amy's had. Like Amy is always kind of a character that wants to help other people. Like it's the
She's
in
selfless.
Adventure, it's the birdie, and in Adventure 2, it's the boys, and even in Heroes, like it's not. She doesn't really care about chasing after Sonic. She the prompt to go out is because Chocola and Froggy are missing.
Yeah, she's
She's helping
purposeful,
Big and
like-
Cream. And in Forces, it's she steps up and takes a major role in the Resistance, and I think it's kind of the Frontiers was sort of the moment where it's like she realizes that she could be going out and helping people more. She's already doing it, but she kind of realizes that should be what I do. Instead of just doing it subconsciously, not realizing that she's doing it, she could be going out and helping people a lot more than she actually is, instead of just chasing after Sonic all the time.
She's had a hell of a journey, and like she's someone that has kind of consistently managed to find purpose within herself, just at the point where she thinks maybe her purpose might be something else. And I think that's why a lot of people are a bit scared of like them changing Amy to meet supposed modern standards, is because she was already someone that lived with purpose, had a fierce sense of independence. Like, we don't want the girl bossification of Amy because she's the original girl boss. You don't need to try and, turn that into a more commonized version of it. Like, it's better to just leave her be.
This kind of brings me onto the thing what I was just about to say with Knuckles. Knuckles has this sort of realization of, am I guarding the Master Emerald out of duty or as a punishment to myself? Maybe I should go off and do something. And his story sort of ends with a sense of he's going to go off on his own major adventure.
Yeah.
Yeah, we ain't seen a video game of that. We're not seeing a Knuckles video game.
Which sucks.
Maybe if we're lucky, we'll get a 2-page free comic to have a look at. But we're not getting these stories. Like, we're not going to see
another thing that kind
Amy
of bugs me a little bit.
Go off and do stuff. It's not going to happen.
Something that bugs me, though, is setting up stories that will never materialize, because it feels like you're wasting real estate and emotional catharsis. However, it feels like such a waste, because I feel like the IDW comics are really stagnant at the moment, in my opinion. I'm so sick of the Resistance era versions of these characters. I'm so done with them being a little military organization, and everything Amy does has to comply with Resistance HQ and this, that, and the other, and they go find another Resistance base and all this. Like, I'm so sick of that. They're not an organization. They're little guys. They just run around and do shit. And, like, the Frontiers has given them a banquet of things that will probably never get done in a game. It would be cool to see the story of the years when Tails was off on his own, when Knuckles was off on his own, when Amy was off on her own, and or maybe Knuckles, rather than being off on his own, is with Sonic and they're going on adventures together as bros. And you could show maybe that Sonic misses Tails and Amy. You could do like maybe even as the storyline of like an annual or a one-shot. You could tell these as little stories. It doesn't have to be massive. But the fact is, we've set up stories that will likely never materialize, all the while the main comic series is fucking so stagnant at the moment.
Well, this is kind of the dilemma and the corner that I think the Sonic cast or whoever's making the decisions on these have sort of put themselves in. In the video games, you sort of said, okay, this is where this is the direction these characters are going, and I would argue that Amy's more or less going back to where she was in Sonic Adventure 1 and 2. We're just kind of getting a more finite, this is the direction she's going in now. She's going to be less crazy about Sonic and more, I want to care for other people, which is perfectly fine. And then you have this really interesting idea with, what the heck do we do about Knuckles? Because Knuckles is either guarding the Master Emerald, or he's guarding the Master Emerald. There's not... Anytime he's involved, he just either randomly turns up and they joke, "Oh, aren't you guarding the Master Emerald this week? Who's doing that?"
It's a
lol.
Big issue for me, really, is like how Frontiers, its story.
Frontiers at least gives him an out to do stuff other than guard the Master Emerald, and I kind of like the idea that maybe it was because of guilt. The problem, all the stuff. How do you tell this story, or how do you get this character to this point now if you can't make a video game about them? And I think the issue with Tales Tube, which might explain why some people have sort of kicked off about it, is these characters are now suddenly these archetypes that Frontier said, okay, they're going in this direction, but they're not there yet. Meanwhile, you've got Tales Tube. Oh, they're like this now, guys. It's fine. And I think what people kind of would have been more accepting with is if you kind of showed the journey of them getting there. But then you have the other problem. If you can't make a video game that shows that, and let's be honest, we are not getting a video game about that. We're not getting a Knuckles video game, and we're certainly not getting an Amy video game, which, yeah, I would like, but when that's not happening. You either rely on the comics, which, again, people read, but certainly not in the numbers to make these characterizations, tell the story that everybody gets. So your only option really is stuff like Tales Tube, which is free for everybody and has pretty much a universal distribution. But again, they're 10-minute shorts. You can't really tell or show the journey that these characters are going on. So they've resorted to, well, these characters are just like that now. And I think certainly with Amy, she's more as she was in Sonic Adventure 1 and 2, which I like, but I fully get why it's very, very, what the hell's going on with Amy now?
Yeah.
Because it's such a sudden jump, even though, no, it's not really. She's kind of gone back to how she was in Adventure, but
I think,
there is some stuff which is missing, which I'd like to see, but we've not really had an opportunity for that to even present itself yet.
The sad thing is, like, it's just, this is what happens when you make your story franchise maintenance first and foremost. I think what makes Sonic Frontiers' story work is the character interactions. That is the big redeeming quality, but ultimately, its story is a lot of franchise maintenance. We've got places we want to get these characters to, and we're going to push them in that direction in this story. But I think it would be a damn shame as well if they didn't, follow up on this a little bit. Because again, teasing things that are never going to happen, just stupid. B, it's also like, these would be good stories. These are stories I'd like to see. And I think we've already had a lot of character development, particularly for Amy, off-screen. Like, with Sonic Frontiers, like Robotnik in the Eggman memos, and we will get off the topic of Frontiers soon because we have other things to talk about. But like Robotnik says, like how Amy's come into her own, she's a member of Team Sonic now and stuff. But that's an arc I kind of wish we could have gotten to see. I wish we could have seen the really happy day when she became a mainstay of Team Sonic, even though she really was. But at this point, she's kind of acknowledged as that by Sonic and friends. I think that would have been really fun to see, and we're not gonna get to see that now because we've just speedran that whole part. But okay, any closing? Go on.
I just think as well, like Frontiers as well, kind of just massively drops the ball with telling a lot of stories. Like I'm not going to go into this massively, but environmental storytelling, Sonic Team, you can use it.
It's
you
non-existent.
Can have your NPCs doing stuff in the environment that makes sense.
The fucking Final Horizon bit where they're talking about an earthquake and how the end is corrupting the island when everything looks the exact fucking same.
I mean, it's not even that. Like, all right, one tiny example. There's a section in Frontiers in the main story where Sage is standing outside of one of the cyberspace portals. She's literally just standing there doing nothing.
Oh yeah,
if
the blocking
don't
sucks.
have, yeah, if you don't have enough memory tokens or whatever, she won't talk to you. If you do have memory tokens, she'll talk to you, and she will literally say, "How are you able?" The conversation is literally, "How are you able to go into and exit the cyberspace portals so easily?" Because she wants that information, because that's how she's going to get Eggman out.
I think it's safe to say.
Well, here's the thing. She's standing next to the cyberspace portal, but she's literally not doing anything. She's just stood there. Surely have her animated so she's examining the cyberspace portal, and have it so when you go up to her, you talk to her, and she won't talk to you. She's busy. She's like, "Go away." or whatever.
Yeah, this is
You then go into the
undeniably.
cyberspace portal and then come out. Then she talks to you because now she knows that you have information that she needs. That's an example of using your environment to deepen a story instead of just having your characters stand there like goddamn zombie statues that don't respond unless you have a season pass to talk to them.
Well, yeah, it's like it's frankly it's frankly a byproduct of that game having fuck all time, fuck all budget, and fuck all really coordination. Like, it bleeds into every single aspect, be it cutscenes, animations, environment designs, or anything like that. Like,
Yeah,
no care was taken with that.
And it's like that with the other characters as well. Like all the other characters, unless it's in a cutscene, they just ain't doing anything. And if there's like evidence of them doing stuff, you could probably tell a story with that. I mean, even the Eggman memos, like, why are they not dotted around all those Eggman bases or the mechs that you come across? That would tell a story way more than just simply getting them with a big fishing game.
The challenge rush thing should have been in those egg UFOs. But we need to get off of Frontiers because we still have quite a major topic, and like we are.
Oh, it's everybody's favorite discussion now.
Yeah, so you have a big hot take because for those watching or listening or whatever it is, you've probably heard us all say that like Sonic Rumble's delays feel stupid, and that the game does feel like it's ready. That's a sentiment I've expressed. It's a sentiment most people on the show have expressed. And Dave, I must admit, I saw at one time when you said, yeah, I got the chance to play it, and yeah, this is not ready. And I just thought, well, that's just like his opinion. You know, that's just how he feels about it. But then later, like during a little discussion, you were pushing me to watch this video that you've made, you pushy bastard. And lo and behold, you had some really strong, thought-provoking points that had me like messaging you the next day going, okay, yeah, I still don't know if I agree that it's not ready for release, but I think you've certainly made some great points about issues that really do need addressing. So, well, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
Right, so for those who don't know, Sonic Rumble has a content creator program, and I'm on it.
Ooh.
And I won't. I know. I know.
I was snubbed.
I don't understand why either. But yeah, no, they put me on it, and I will say positively to them. The community lady, I think it's a lady. I'm not sure. The community person who actually said let me on did watch my content. They told me, and they were actually impressed with it, which is why they wanted me on.
Oh, look
and
at me!
They
I'm
actually
Dave, Sega watching my YouTube videos.
Well, believe it or not, they did message me afterwards, and I'm not going to betray too much trust here, I don't think. And they actually, even though the video was quite critical, they thanked me for it because it was one of the few bits of feedback they got that was actionable. Should we just say that they could actually take back to the devs and be like, look, this person's clearly illustrated this issue here, and this is what they say is the problem, and this is the way to fix it. That's kind of what I think they meant. But yeah, it wasn't just like, oh, I'm just going to do an angry video gamer review person and just slate this off for the sake of it. No, I kind of wanted people to understand the issues with it. Now,
you're always delivering on the nuance department.
Yeah. So anyway, being on the content creator program, it means we have access to the PC Steam version, which isn't available publicly yet.
Never will be.
You might think, well, this means there's two versions of Sonic Rumble. There's the mobile version, and then there's the PC version. Well, no, there's technically three versions of Sonic Rumble. There's the mobile version, there's the PC version, and then there's the version that was released before they delayed the game again. So what do I mean by that? Well, the version that most people have seen, that most people have probably watched footage of, maybe even tried out for themselves, is the version that came out a while before they delayed the game. Like they said, oh, the game was supposed to be out. What was it? Was it May?
I think so. It was May. Yeah, it was meant to be out May 11th.
Yeah, it was May, I think. Yeah, let's say May just for argument's sake. So there's the version that was supposed to come out before the global release of May.
Mm-hmm.
And then they brought in the skills updates. And then all of a sudden, the game is delayed and there's no word why. If you played the non-skilled version and then you go to the skill version, you can understand why it's been delayed. So
I gotta be honest, I still don't quite like, because I did, and I didn't really have an issue.
There's a lot here that I just don't think works very well.
It's not elegant, I'll say that. Like, it's just
it's kind of funny because you can't talk about this without contradicting yourself, because it is weird. Like the skill update fixed a lot of problems, and these were big problems that people had with the original. Like the original game had a point system which was character specific. So say for example you wanted to play as Big the Cat. Big the Cat wasn't a great character to play as because he didn't have a very good point system. But if you played as a rarer character, like I don't want the costume Sonics or whatever, they had a much better score bonus. So it was in your incentive to pick characters that had the best score bonus over picking a character that you liked. So it was kind of like a tier system, but not really. It didn't give you an advantage in, say, winning the games, but it did give you a massive advantage in the
like
meta
the goodies
gameplay
that you'd get after. Like, so the reason why I never really thought of this, like, because I've been like a strong proponent of the game is ready to be released. This is purely just me having my own comprehension, effectively. Like, so I don't think I would necessarily have considered what you mentioned is I'm going to play as my favorite character regardless of whether or not it gives me bonuses. Like, I'm that kind of guy. Like, I would value getting time to play as the character over the rewards I could get out of it. Like, I stink at Marvel Rivals, or I should say stank. I don't play it anymore. And I don't people like play as this guy. I'm like, no, I'm Spider-Man. Fuck you. You know?
Well, this is what I was like. Like when I had the pre-skills edition, let's call it. I was mainly playing as Rouge the Bat because barely anybody else in the game was playing as her. It was either Sonic or Shadow, or some people were playing
Gooning
as
to
Big
my
the Cat,
wife.
just to troll people. Silence. Now, I was actually doing pretty well. Like I was winning quite a lot of the games, and I was really enjoying myself. And it genuinely felt like it was a battle of skill. Although I will freely admit, because I was on PC using a controller, that did give me a massive advantage. But I wasn't invincible. Let's just say there were people that could wipe the floor with me. But it legitimately felt like once this game got released and more people had it on PC, that there would be a clear reshifting balance of power. It would become what the content creators wouldn't be able to dominate just because they had the PC version of the game we're playing with a controller. It would sort of filter out more. And then the skill version came along. Now the skill updates basically gave all the characters skills, and some of them get unique skills which are exclusive to the own character, and then there are a couple of universal ones. Now there's a few problems with this just on the very nature. For starters, there's a massive resource economy behind this, and it's weighted very heavily in favor towards people that put money into the game. So you buy the season pass, you buy the weekly pass, you literally just put money in to buy stuff so you can get these skills. You've got a massive advantage.
Yeah, the points economy does suck butts. Yeah. There's no two ways about that.
And now all of a sudden, like overnight, the number of games I was even getting into the top 3 just collapsed. This is how ridiculously powerful it was. Like, there's still like only 50 or so people in this content creator program who were actively playing the game at this time, who had a PC version. Yet I was getting my ass kicked in virtually every game now against people that are on mobile. Yet 24 hours earlier, I was dominating virtually every game.
I found they had rebalanced it though later. Like, I found there was like a week or so where I was like, God, fuck, I stink at every single game here. And then suddenly, like a week or so later...
I'm not sure. I haven't really looked at it in detail to see if they have done or not, but that's kind of how powerful the skill system was. If you had the right skills on the right characters, you would just dominate. You would absolutely destroy stuff. And the annoying thing is, several of the, let's call them Generation 1 stages, weren't designed with the skill system in mind. So quite a lot of the races, they just end with a single straight path. So if you're playing as, say, Sonic or Shadow, who have that ridiculous boost, just save that for the last section, and you will win. There is no way to stop those characters from winning. And if you
unless
win
someone
now,
just is
you get such...
enough ahead of you, I guess. Like, if someone
It's very difficult to do that and maintain that, especially in like those early Generation 1 races.
Yeah.
It's extremely difficult to do that. And especially since there's also items which can catch you up very easily, and there's also the breakable walls which eventually stop you, so the other players will catch you up. It's incredibly difficult.
I noticed that, actually. Like, those breakable walls really do rebalance things. Gotta admit, though, on, like, playing it on, like, its single-player modes and stuff, those breakable walls can fucking go away. Like, I hate them. Like, I often do, like, the challenge battles, and sometimes I will literally just go into the custom game mode, play solo, and just play it like it's a regular Sonic game. Like, man, the only thing holding this back from being a solid Sonic level is just that fucking wall, man. Like...
Well, this is kind of this is sort of the point I'm making here with this skill system. Like, just this example. So, within 24 hours, I've gone from basically almost winning every single game to barely winning 1 in every 10 games because the skill system was so ridiculous. It came to the point where I have to engage with this mechanic. I have to do something, otherwise, there's just no way I'm gonna even get positioned in top 3.
It would be good if they had like a no-skill mode. Well, unskilled players.
Well, once I did start to look into it, suddenly my wins were increasing, and they were increasing by quite a drastic amount. Here's the problem. I ran out of currency to buy and upgrade skills, so I was stuck.
Wait, does that...
And this is where there's because the skill system requires its own currency to buy skills and upgrade them.
Yeah, I know, but it gives you so much when you start the game. Like, or at least when I started it on my account, because
it's nowhere near enough. It is nowhere near enough.
I found that I was able to get like a good set of skills down. Like, I think I got like a character-specific skill for Sonic, Shadow, Amy, Tails, and Knuckles, as well as the other skills that you get. Like, it always gives you enough skills to compete, I find. But I don't know how that is for new players.
But did you upgrade them?
Yeah.
You can't have.
Yeah, I did.
There's just no way.
I can send you a screenshot of my skills.
Well,
which sounds really boastful, but like, I'll send you a screenshot.
Well, I'm not calling you a liar or anything, but
I will
the
send
first
you
week
a
there was just no way. You couldn't. I mean, certainly now you can't, because it only gives you like I want to say you can, through the mission mode, you get something like 100 or 200 skill fragments or however much it is for free, and then you're basically getting whatever is on the season pass that week. But otherwise, there's not really any other way to get skill fragments at all. There's certainly no way to get them through gameplay unless you buy the season pass.
Is it not just the wrenches? No, the skill fragment. Yeah, they are the yellow ones that look like GUN logos.
They're like the yellow the yellow staff looking ones.
I'll get the picture. Hang on.
It's not the wrenches.
No. Don't worry. I know it's not the wrenches. I thought it was for a second, but let me get my.
Well, anyway, as I was saying, like, so I was mainly playing as Rouge, and the thing with Rouge is she's got some really cool skills for one specific gameplay mode, which is the ring magnet.
Sex.
And you basically you basically pull rings into you from a massive distance away, and there's certain levels where you can absolutely destroy every other player if you're the only one that's using this. But it's absolutely useless for races, and it's also useless for certain versus modes as well. So you have to look into buying other skills or even investing in other characters. The problem is that if you're a free-to-play player, you're going to quickly run out of tokens to buy skills and even upgrade them long before you figure out what's the best one. So if you're a paid player, you kind of don't have this issue because you get so much more.
I can't speak for new players, but when I made the transition, it did give me some skill points just kind of off the jump. But yeah, check the back rooms. There's the screenshot of my skills. And like, as you can see, a lot of them are leveled up, and I do have quite a few of them. So I was able to get all that. I did briefly pay for Rumble Plus just to check it out, but all that really does is give you, like, additional Omni Fragments, really, and those expire after a month, so it's a fucking waste of money. Don't buy Rumble Plus.
Yeah, well, certainly now though, the problem is like when the game launches, you're gonna have all these players which are gonna be starting out with basically nothing against all these other players that have spent the last couple of months like upgrading all the characters and all the skills to the point where just nobody's gonna really be able to touch them. And trying to play against other players without using skills, it's just no. You're just not gonna do. You're just not gonna do it. There's nothing you can do. Like, and it's not like you can get this stuff easily because you can't get it from game. You can't get the skill fragments or the stuff to upgrade skills through gameplay. You can only get it through missions or through season pass incentives. There's literally no other ways to do it. Oh, actually, you can join a crew, and if there's a crew event on, and your crew does especially well, you can get quite a lot very quickly that way. But again, those aren't. It's not easy to get into a good crew now, and again, that isn't a very reliable method. But yeah, it's not. It's not great. It's very slow, and it's very clearly weighted in favor of the people who are spending quite a lot of money, or the players that are very firmly established. And right there, but anyway, right there, you kind of have a problem. You've got a gameplay system which isn't rewarded on skill. It's kind of rewarded on what you've bought and upgraded, and because there's money tied to that, it's kind of like an artificial pay-to-win wall.
Sure, okay, I can appreciate that. I mean, that being said, I haven't paid for Sonic Rumble since or before that. And part of the reason why I didn't continue to pay for Rumble Plus was because I was getting by just fine for free. So I still don't know if I mean, at the end of the day, that's just me having a perspective that clearly doesn't align. I clearly haven't seen some of what you have or experienced some of what you have. But I still don't know if I buy that this justifies it being delayed as long as it has. And isn't something they could maybe just fix later?
When the skill system came out, there was a lot of people that had a hell of a lot of reaction to it. Like the skills, the ring magnet ones, for example, were just so ridiculously overpowered that they needed adjusting. That it was just bonkers how broken it was. And then people started to notice, hang on, we need to do something about Sonic's boosting speed as well, his skill, because it is so broken. It lasts for ages and it overtakes everyone, and no one can really touch it. And there was a couple of others as well, which people were like, "Wait a minute, have we checked out this skill as well?" And I just felt if they released if they released it as it was, it would be such a colossal mess. If you picked a character who didn't have a good skill set, or you just didn't really enjoy or engage with the skill economy, you would hate the game. You would drop it within just a day or two because it was that bad.
It's worth noting that all of the characters do have a form of boost move. And I think, maybe if the game did more to encourage you to consider your loadout, but I find it quite consistently puts those in the automatic loadouts as well. So I kind of feel like at that point it's just like, why not just use that move if you're being killed by that move so often? I found that those boost moves are relatively available for everyone.
Yeah, but this kind of goes back to the thing I was saying earlier. Because you have to buy the skills, there's not enough of the currency to do so, and certainly not to upgrade it to a point where you're at a competitive edge to compete against people.
So maybe that's just a matter of give out more of those fucking skill tokens then.
Well, again, that's what I would suggest as well. But because they've tied it into a lot of their premium economies, like it's now within the monthly season pass, and it's also within like the event season passes as well. There's so many season passes. Like when I stopped playing, there was 3. And this is the funny thing as well. PC players, we can't spend any money on it.
Right.
Not because we don't want to, because the functionality is disabled.
So you couldn't get Barbecue Marshal Eggman?
We literally cannot spend any money in it.
Worse yet, you couldn't get the little chow that's holding the skewer. Oh my god.
No, to give you an idea what happens, we've been told that it's something to do with Steam's rules regarding early access and purchases, but that's the vague response we've got. But even though like people are saying, "Oh, you content creators have such an advantage," We kind of aren't really, unless you've also got access to the mobile version, because
Yeah, you know who
when you go
really
to the
has an
shop,
advantage?
yeah,
VPN users.
quite funny. When you go to the shop, if you try to buy something with red rings, and you don't have enough red rings, you get a pop-up that says, "Click here to get more red rings," and you then click on that, and you get taken to a store page which is just completely blank because it's not available for PC. Like, you can't buy red rings, you can't buy the season pass, you can't buy the premium event pass. And the other thing as well, if you're in a crew, you can't do many of the crew activities either on PC. And this is the really interesting one, because what some people have claimed is the crew system is tied directly into Google AdSense or some kind of Google Play reward thing.
Okay.
So it uses that.
Right.
The problem is PC and Steam doesn't use that. So you can't do special missions, which also gives you additional rewards either, just because you're on PC. There is literally no way to do it.
I'll be damned. Okay, so I think what I'm definitely getting from this is, like, even though I personally, like, my experiences have been good, I think what I'm getting for this is that the PC version, at the very least, should be delayed. Because the PC version sounds outright unfinished.
It's really weird. Like you saw the video I did. They've made some effort. Like, it's clearly not from the days of we just ported this, we just clicked in Unity or whatever PC and clicked run. You know, there is stuff in there you can do. Like, you can customize the settings a little bit. You can rebind all the keys directly from in the app. There is some stuff there, and it clearly does run better than the mobile version, but my god, it should, because you're playing on PC.
Absolutely.
And yes, you can use a controller as well. I mean, you can do that with a mobile device, but it's a lot more finicky and not as good. Now, here's a comical thing. When you want to update the game, you download the update through Steam, you start the app, up pops a pop-up that says, "Downloading data from the store," and then it crashes because it still thinks it's a mobile app.
I'll be damned.
The
it's
other
not
comical
ready.
thing,
The PC one definitely
the other
isn't
comical
ready.
thing, when you're in a stage, you can't quit the stage. There is no way to do so unless you Alt F4 or Alt Tab and close the window directly that way. And do you want to know why that is?
Go on.
Because how do you close an app on a mobile device?
You swipe down.
You press... Exactly. Because it's a simple motion. You either swipe down or you press the bottom left and then you close it that way. That's because you don't need a button that says press here, go down to the option, close tab. But PC isn't a mobile device. It's not a touch screen. You use a keyboard and a mouse or a controller. So you need a menu there to do that. But it doesn't exist because it's the mobile UI. And even in the gameplay as well, like, you've got these giant icons on the side of the screen, and originally there was only 3 of them.
Then?
No, they're on permanently.
Oh my god, the PC version is not ready.
There's these giant icons there, and initially I was like, what are these things? Because one of them would light up whenever I pressed the jump button on my controller, and another one would light up whenever I had a special item like a homing attack ready.
That's
And I
incredibly
realized what it
half-assed.
was. It's because when you're playing on a mobile device, you're probably using the screen is the controller, so you need to put buttons there for the player to press.
Yeah, I've
but on a
seen
PC,
it on the
you
mobile.
don't. Yeah, you don't need that because your controller is the buttons, your keyboard is the buttons, your mouse technically is the button, but whatever. I think I kind of made the point. But on mobile, you need those artificial buttons there so the player knows what to press. But you don't need that on the PC because most players don't have a fucking touch screen.
I mean, that goes without saying. It shouldn't even be visible on the PC. Like,
but what's comical about it, because the skill system was introduced, you now have more buttons so you can activate skills, and they're on the PC version as well.
Yeah, that's very half-assed. I'm guessing that it's far from finished on PC then. Like, I think, like, one
really
takeaway I'm
isn't.
having here is that PC version at the very least should be delayed. But I still think the mobile one is justifying its release now.
I think they could, but the issue this is kind of what I said about how there's technically multiple versions of Sonic Rumble that exist. Now, if we're talking about the pre-skills update, if they'd have released Sonic Rumble as is, I think its biggest crime, aside from the fact it was kind of unoptimized in a lot of places, the biggest crime it would have is people would say, this is just Fall Guys with Sonic. And my response to that is, who the fuck cares?
Yeah, Fall Guys
no one would have cared.
Fall Guys is still effectively a physics-based platformer, which is what Sonic is. So, doing Fall Guys but Sonic doesn't really matter.
I won't go into this too deeply, but I played Fall Guys a lot when it first released during the pandemic, and I decided to replay. I played it again. Basically, Fall Guys has kind of had a bit of a Sonic Rumble in that there's two versions of it. Like the original version when it came out, and then they got bought by Epic Games, and now there's the Epic Games version. Now, when they released the Epic Game version and they updated it all, I replayed it a lot, and it felt really great. Like even going back into it and starting fresh, it felt fantastic. Obviously, the player count was a little bit down, but it felt great. However, Fall Guys has since had a bit of a skills update. They've changed a lot. Like they've totally revamped all the physics in there. But as a consequence, a lot of the old classic stages have had to be essentially deleted. They're gone because the new physics completely breaks them. And the other comical thing is, because Fall Guys has been released on mobile devices and the Nintendo Switch, those versions can't handle the same number of players that the original PS4, Xbox and PC version could. So they've had to reduce the player counts in the stages, and now they've got the same problem that I kind of highlighted in my Rumble video, in that the number of players in a stage just feels way too small. It's just nowhere near as chaotic or as enjoyable, because half the time you're just wondering where everyone is.
I will say, when I saw your video, one thing I did definitely kind of disagree with, even though I could see kind of where you were coming from, was you mentioning that the levels were a bit too spacious and stuff, and that space should be something that the players compete with, or compete for, sorry. But I honestly thought, I'm happy for that to be Fall Guys' thing, but with Sonic, I like there to be still a form of flow state, and even if the gameplay thing is not necessarily as designed for flow state as other Sonic gameplay things are, I do like the actual space.
With that though, there was another thing with that I can't remember if I cut it from my video or if it was one of those things that after I was editing that part of the clip, it was like something that I noticed when I was reviewing my footage, and I thought, is this worth me delaying the video more to add this in when it's such a tiny point? And I decided, no, I'm not going to put it in, but I'll mention this now, and your initial response might be, this doesn't sound like a big deal, but the more I started watching footage of it, I was like, my god, this would have so opened up some really cool stuff for the level design. In Fall Guys, when you're running around a lot, you've kind of got to be really careful with where you're going. Like if you walk on slime or whatever, your character loses all control. If you're going uphill, you've got to be really careful about doing basic stuff like jumping. Well, Rumble has sections where you're running along grass, or you could be running along ice, and that's kind of it for how your character responds to the environments. They'll either run at normal speed.
That's not entirely true, because you've got the purple gunk in the Silent Forest stages, and that causes you to be unable to use your skills.
All right. Yeah, there's that. But there's another section as well. Like there's one section which is it's a stage where it's very similar to Fall Mountain from Fall Guys. You're kind of going up this I think it's oh god, which level is it? It's one of the levels based on Lost World, the lava one, where you're kind of going up a mountain.
Yeah.
But not it's a race in which you're going up a mountain. And there's one section where there's all these balls that are sort of rolling down towards you, and you've got to dodge them, and there's platforms in the way. At one point, there's this rough, rocky terrain that you can run across, and it doesn't impact you. You literally just run across it. It doesn't slow you down. It doesn't make it harder to control. And it's kind of the same for jumping as well. Like in Fall Guys, whenever you jump, you've got to be really careful about where you're aiming to, because if you land slightly wrong, your bean falls over and it takes a while to get back up, or worse, you start tumbling down and you can't get back up. But in Rumble, it doesn't care. You jump and you land, and that's fine. And there's even segments where there's clear terrain where you run across it, and your character just doesn't react.
I
And
think that works.
as I was
for
watching
Sonic,
this
though.
footage back, I was thinking, why? Like, there's no hindrance to this. Like, yes, I could go, I can just run across this like rocky section on this mountain, and it doesn't hinder me. But if I was to say go around it, I'd go a bit faster, but obviously it would be a slightly slower route now. There's no hindrance to that, and there's
I don't
so
know,
many
though. I
levels where there's
appreciate-
examples like this.
I really appreciate the wealth of foot space when it comes to Sonic, and that some things are there aesthetically, but you can still just, breeze through it. I feel like that's... I don't know, I feel like that's kind of something that works, to me, to Rumble's advantage, I guess. Like, it's a more open and kind of, I guess, breezy version of Fall Guys as far as I see it. Like, some of the stuff that slows you down in Fall Guys would be kind of alienating to me in a Sonic experience.
I think for me, it's more that when I was looking at this footage and I was sort of looking at my character run across this, what is clearly rocky stuff, it has physics to it. Like, it's not just like a pseudo, oh, it looks rocky, but you just run across it like it's a flat surface. No, your character sort of bounces up and down as if it's running over a surface. But yeah, the collision's there, but it doesn't have any impact on the speed you're traveling at. There's nothing. And I'm just thinking, shouldn't this do something? Like, even if it doesn't necessarily slow me down, just like make it slightly difficult to turn, change direction, just something, instead of just giving me the pseudo impression that it's having an impact. And there's loads of stuff like this throughout there, and you just like it feels, I don't know, it's like there's stuff here, but it's just not fully thought out. And it's kind of funny, like we're talking about the state that Sonic Boom's in, and like where is it ready, isn't it ready? And
Sonic Boom was totally ready.
Not Sonic Boom, Sonic Rumble. And honestly, like I've been thinking about this like for the last week or two since we've said, oh yeah, let's chat about it. And you want to know what I really think? What I honestly think? It doesn't matter anymore. Like it really genuinely doesn't matter. Like if they release the PC version tomorrow or the mobile version worldwide, let's say it released and they fixed the VSync issue at last, which has been an issue for months, which I don't know if that's ever going to get fixed or not. They fix all the problems with the lag that happens in some areas, which again is another comical stuff. And maybe they adjust some of the skills. I just think that with the state Rumble itself is in from a sheer design and the direction it's going in at the moment, it doesn't matter because it's kind of doomed no matter what it does. And it's painful to say that because there's so much about Rumble that exists which just would put people off from continuing it. Like the big thing for me is after I did my video, I sort of had the mindset of, okay, that's it. I'm done with Sonic Rumble now. I don't need to play it. But I kept playing it every day because I was kind of enjoying it. And I thought, I wonder which characters I could unlock. And the big thing for me that sort of killed my enjoyment, and I was like, that's it. I am done. I am never touching Sonic Rumble again. The way the costume system works is it's actually on paper it's a really cool idea. You can get these things every season called Omni Fragments.
Yeah.
And Omni Fragments, the basically think of it like this. You can either buy a character and that's it, you've got that character. Or each character has, like, let's call it for simplicity's sake, an XP slot. And you fill the XP slot by getting fragments, which you can get from usually like your daily reward or very rarely the free section of the whatever season pass is available. But these are rare. They're like you get maybe 2 a day, if even that. And now the other solution is Omni Fragments. Now you can actually build up quite a lot of these every month. Now the thing with Omni Fragments is they're an all or nothing. So if a character costs 400 fragments and you've only got 399, you can't use that 399. You have to have 400, which is a bit of a problem. So I was playing Rumble the last season every day, and it got to about 2 weeks to go, and I went away on holiday. And then I came back, and I kind of forgot about Sonic Rumble. And then I decided to go onto it because I saw there was an update, they'd added something. I was like, oh yeah, what happened? And I logged in, and I saw this message. Oh, the season is over now, but don't worry, we've turned your Omni fragments into rings.
I saw that as well, and I felt fucking insulted.
And now, rings are the most common resource in the game, to the point where you will have hundreds of thousands of them very quickly, like within your first week, to the point where you will not know what to do with them.
It's worthless. That, and also, though, like, I mean...
Yeah, but just to sort of... Sorry, just to sort of, like, stress what this did to me. The entire month that I'd spent playing this, getting those Omni fragments, the excitement and anticipation I had of picking a new character from the store that I was looking forward to, just to getting as a nice, I kind of earned this. I've put in so much effort. I've really enjoyed my time playing. To see we've turned these into rings, which I already have thousands of.
Be like turning sugar into poo.
I pressed Alt F4, closed the game, and I have not played it since.
Fortunately,
and I have told the people directly in the content. We were in like this content creator Discord chat for it, so we can give feedback to issues which aren't quite public yet that we might see. And I've told them, whoever is in charge of this decision, if they don't reverse this, you will lose players, because this is going to happen. Like, people are just going to forget, or they're going to be like me, like couldn't access your game or whatever. They're going to come back and realize that their months of work, because it's 2 months per season, was for nothing.
In my case,
and they're going to be like, fuck you, you've wasted my time, why should I keep playing this game?
There was that, and also, like, when I did it, I subscribed to Rumble Plus for a month, which is like $3.99, so it's like fucking pennies, effectively. Okay. And it gives you, like, 10 Omni fragments every day when you log in. And that's a big draw of it. And I was like, okay, yeah, I can save lots of these up and get all kinds of characters. And then I saw Omni fragments expiring soon, and I was like, I'm never paying for that ever again. I immediately just went and was like, okay, fuck it, what can I get? I'll just get that and that, there we go. But rather than it being like, oh yeah, I saved this up for a character I really needed to get, I was like, yeah, alright, fine, Angler Big will do. You know, like...
yeah, well, the first season that we did, I think we got access to it, like, it was really close to the end of a season. So when I got the message saying, oh, your Omni fragments are about to expire, it was like, oh, damn, what do I put them in? So I just bought whatever, and I still had a lot left over, which I just couldn't use on anything. But it was a lot less of a pill to swallow, because it was like, oh, at least I got something. But there is so many ways to handle that differently. Like, oh, your Omni fragments have expired, we turned them into these fragments towards X character. That would have been a much softer blow than we've turned them into rings, which you already have a million of.
Yeah, maybe if it did, like, it will automatically buy the one character that you can afford, basically. Or the character that will take the most of them and stuff. If it, like, kind of resets it, but it's like, hey, you didn't use these, so we picked a character for you. Even that would be better.
But the thing is, I don't even know why that resets. Like, there's no point.
There's no reason for it to reset.
There's no benefit, because it's not like something where you can go away and the game automatically farms them for you. It's an active process. You have to physically log in. You have to physically click buttons. You have to physically do stuff to get them. So it's not like you're not logging in to do stuff. And
Sideshow in the chat says red rings could have been a better alternative, and I agree. Yeah, like, get enough red rings and you can get
would, because
some of the costumes in the store, you know? Like,
well, red rings is another issue as well. Once you've exhausted all 3 avenues to get them, that's it, they're gone. There's no way to get any more. Again, this is... Well, you can get quite a lot fairly quickly, but once that's gone, it's gone. And like
Yeah, it's
a lot
very
of people have
drainable
said,
resource.
oh, you can get them from there's like it's like a practice mode. It's like it's basically a time attack mode. You can get them from there. And it's like, oh, okay, let's try this. So you have to play through it once, and then you unlock the hard versions, and then you can do that. And then there's a version which is, oh, you and 3 other players can now do it. Well, great, but now I've got to get 3 other players to go through everything. We've all got to be around at the same time. We've all kind of want to do this. And that's, again, it's like a pyramid scheme thing. Eventually, you're going to run out of players that want to do that.
Yeah, it's kind of like trying to force people to engage with the mechanics, you're going to alienate people. But like, yeah, so I guess kind of we should start wrapping up the Sonic Rumble discussion because we are a little pressed for time now. But like,
yeah. I mean, I was going to say we should probably bring Sai in just so we could bounce something off this as well.
I want Sai to be introduced in their own episode.
But I think it's really difficult because when you initially said, "Oh, let's bring me on and talk about it," I'm just kind of going to say, if anybody really wants to sort of hear a deep dive of the PC version, just check out my video on it because it's all there and it's all detailed and there's all examples. But
well, kind of speed running this point as well, like what you said about like the team mode and stuff as well, with the first team to score 6 goals wins, and people were literally stopping before the finish line trying to figure out how to score goals, when in actuality it was just get to the finish line. The fact that hasn't been fixed as well is insane to me. Like, yeah, that is just such a clear miscommunication that's going to cost people. And that team mode, that fucking team mode, is a mode where you can do nothing wrong and lose because maybe your players are facing desync issues and stuff. That shit, just save it for squads. But I'd also say that fucking football city escape mission, kill it. Just pull it. It doesn't work. Awful. It doesn't work at all.
There's just so many. But the
ball physics are also hilarious.
The more stuff that is just popping into my head, and I think Rumble's biggest problem is it feels like it's a victim of something that's in game development, software development, is called scope creep. Now, if you don't know what that is, it's
where like the scope of the project has gotten bigger than the project was ever meant to be.
Imagine you want to design, kind of like this. Imagine you want to design a video game, like let's call it a single experience video game, and you design your single experience video game. Let's say it's a first-person shooter. You've got a single player first-person shooter. You design it, and it's nearly ready to go, and then all of a sudden, someone comes in with a lot of power and is like, hey, this looks too much like that other first-person shooter. Wink, wink. Not Fall Guys. Wink, wink. We need to make it stand out. Okay, why don't we put a skill system in? Why don't we make it co-op? Why don't we make it multiplayer? That's a great idea. Let's do that. So you now design all these new systems which have to work in themselves, but then you have to assimilate those into your single player game, which you didn't design to use this stuff. Of course there's going to be problems, of course there's going to be conflicts, and that's kind of the main crux of the problem. Like, you have the pre-skills edition of Rumble, which I think if they'd have released it, even in the state it was in, its biggest crime would be it's too much like Fall Guys, but people probably wouldn't have cared. They would have probably found just a little fun game that if they got hooked onto it, they'd have kept playing it, and it would have generated, I think, a fairly active community for maybe a year, maybe 2.
See, to me,
depending on what they
on
what they did.
I also wanted to really quickly go on.
Sorry, yeah, but now with this skills update, they've changed so much that there's so many comical things which are just broken or just don't work correctly. Like, the funniest one is there's a ranking system in the game which awards you a rank based on how well you did. The lowest you can get is a D, and the top one you get is an S. Thanks to the skills update, it's possible to just stand perfectly still at the start of a race, position last, and get an S rank.
Yeah, that's very poor design that needs a fix. And like, without getting too stuck into the weeds, like you mentioned, like some of the special rumbles with like the Death Egg robot fight and how, hitting it on a tougher spot isn't going to get you any more points than hitting it in just the obvious place.
Yeah.
I did a special rumble recently, which was Badnik Rangers, or sorry, Egg Porn Rangers. Badnik Rangers sounds way better, but Egg Porn Rangers. And they kind of look like Power Rangers as well. That's kind of cool. But like they're different colors and they each have a different visor. And you go around fighting effectively these mini bosses, and eventually they'll vaporize, and you chase them. And you can kind of divide and conquer on which ranger you're going to take down versus what your team are taking down. And it's very thrilling. It's very fun. The problem with this is there were multiple occasions where the Egg Porn Rangers just didn't spawn in. So we were all just searching for these things that never materialized. And I feel like those special rumbles...
is a bug that they are aware of.
These special rumbles are such a mixed bag in that, like, I love the boost one. The boost one's really fun. The zero gravity one does not benefit the player in the slightest, and I will actively choose to not play it. And there are other ones, and it's just like, it's a mixed bag. I think there's too many ideas
the zero
now.
gravity one, there is a fun thing you can do with that. There's some stages where you could just completely break the game. I want to say it's one of the Starlight Carnivals. I did a zero gravity run on that, and I don't know how I did it. I jumped over the entire stage and won.
Yeah, I think so. What the general thing, my solution is, I think the fact that it's been delayed as much as it has in such public eye is still always going to be kind of a tough pill to swallow and makes the game look really stupid. But I think a little bit of time could be invested into just compiling what they have. I don't want them to think about new features they can add or new stages. I want them to trim the fat and cut it down to what works. Cut the fucking team stages in the non-squad mode. Cut that shit. Get rid of it. Retool the numbers. It's numbers stuff. You can fix that super easily. Fucking the stuff like turning the fucking Omni fragments into rings. Get rid of it. Get rid of that entirely, or at least do red rings. At least that. Delay the PC release until it's ready. But I think there's so much content in this thing that you can cut it down to just a great version of the game itself that needs very little actually done to it, you know? I think it's baffling. Like, just the decision-making process is very baffling, and they keep adding more content when I think they need to polish what's here.
I honestly think it just doesn't really matter anymore. Like, the extreme thing would be, we're going back to the pre-skills version, we've got it in a state that's stable and is working fine.
I'd still say I'd like them to try for the skills.
Let's be honest, they're not going to do that. So we're getting the skills update version, and it's going to get released in a state. But this skills version, it basically has a character meta system. So yes, you can play as your favorite character, but if your character doesn't have a skill which is as useful as someone else, your character is going to be at a disadvantage. So
to be fair though, every skill, like, there's a lot of cosmetics in the skills, like, but they all have a version of each skill, effectively. Like, they all have like a projectile attack, a boost, a regular attack. They do,
but there are some which are clearly more powerful or better than others. Like, it's been brought on, like,
I haven't noticed that.
Like Shadows, for example, he's got a projectile attack, but apparently it's one of the weakest in the game, which is just really funny.
Oh, I've enjoyed his projectile attack, but then again, I haven't used a lot of.
But this is kind of what I'm getting at. Like, so I think we're gonna get they're gonna release the skills version, and they'll probably tinker and make some balancing tweaks. However, it clearly is a product which is a victim of scope creep, and it doesn't matter how long they delay it for. There is going to be stuff which is just conflicting with the original vision and idea, which is going to bring out a lot more problems than had they just released the basic version, which, it was basic, but it was fun, it was enjoyable, and it was clearly a player skill thing, not what skills have you bought and paid for and upgraded thing.
It can also be being inspired by your own work, effectively. Like, I don't blame them for introducing the skill thing, because I think on a whole the skill thing does enhance the experience, but I can see that it is growing and kind of outgrowing its body, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and I just don't think it matters anymore. Like, if they released it now in a fixable state, and if they make the PC version look like a PC version instead of just blatantly a mobile UI on a PC screen. I think there's just going to be that there will be some dedicated people who stick with it and play it for ages, but I honestly think the majority of people will be done barely after a week, just because they're going to see all the stuff that I did and just realize this just ain't worth it for me at the minute.
I'd played it like
And-
consistently, nearly daily since like the start of the year, but like when I saw the pre-season 5 announcement come up, I was just like, this thing ain't coming out, is it? Like, I'm never gonna get the full experience of what this is like.
Well, I mean, the other thing we haven't even talked about, and I think this is kind of another big problem as well with the game, is with the current economy behind it, not even just like the resource economy, but the current economy too. It's impossible to unlock, well, I'll say everything, but not even half the content if you're a free-to-play player. You just can't do it. You have to spend a lot of money in to get stuff, and it just feels kind of seedy and unfair to do that. Like there's no other way to get stuff. Like there's no way to grind for red rings. There's no way to get omni fragments outside of 2 or 3 every day. And I don't know. It's like you look at something like, say, Pokemon Go, and okay, there are some Pokemon that are technically behind a paywall, but that is extremely rare, and it's like 1 per year, and they're not very good outside of just being a dex filler. But with this, there's so much content which is just paywalled away that I think people are going to look at it and they're just, no, what's going on here? And they're just going to see a game which is also tied so heavily into like a paid for economy system that they're just going to be put off by it. So I don't think it matters anymore. Like I keep saying to people, if you are interested in looking into way more detail than what I'm giving about all the comical problems and the design issues with Rumble, please check out my video on it, because I can't express everything here as to what it's like. But honestly, I just don't really think it matters. I think it's kind of done. And it kind of pains me to say that, because I think Rumble would have been just a fine to okay game if it had come out. But it's become this thing now, which I think puts a lot of people off with a lot of mobile free-to-play games. And it was a lot less so in the pre-skills update. And I think if it does come out now, there's going to be the initial, yay, this is so much fun, this is so great. But the big tell that I have as to whether Rumble's actually pretty good or not is, look at how many content creators are still making content on it. There's barely any. Yet it's still adding new content per day. Like, I know Dave Ace is doing like the odd weekly video on whatever new content is, but all these big streamers who were saying, oh, it's amazing, guys, it's so much fun. It's amazing, guys, it's so much fun. I'm not just saying that because I don't want to be kicked off the content creator program. No. Where are they? They haven't touched the game for months. And I know you might want to argue, oh, I need to spice up. I can't just play one game all the time. But if this game really was that massive enjoyment that they were saying it was, why are they not playing it anymore?
Yeah, no, that's fair. Like, yeah, so to kind of wrap up on Rumble then, because we are kind of a little low on time now, we're gonna have to move on to super chats. But like, yeah, I think from a gameplay standpoint and like a functionality standpoint, there's a lot to love about Sonic Rumble that was able to kind of convince me that it was ready, because from a gameplay standpoint, it does feel quite polished. In terms of the metagame, I think you've really illustrated some great points that, like, and at the end of the day, this is not just a Sonic platformer like the way I've been enjoying it. It's a competitive online experience. So it should be at least kind of somewhat fair to non-paying players, rather. So I think, yeah, I do actually kind of agree in the end that maybe Sonic Rumble isn't ready yet, but it still makes me angry that it's not ready yet, because I think a lot of what you're pointing out feels kind of like it should be obvious. Like, and yeah, it stinks that rather than release the game in the state it is and then just, like, you know, pre-skills and then maybe just work on like a Sonic Rumble 2, the game kind of went from like Sonic Rumble to the Sonic Icarus experience. Like, it's a little too big for itself now. It's struggling to kind of sustain its own weight, and I think that's just very unfortunate. So yeah, like that's I guess what happens when you try to make a sequel to a game before releasing the original. They really did try to release Sonic Rumble 2 first.
It's kind of funny. The more you play of Sonic Rumble, you can kind of see where the original vision was for the game, and you can kind of see, hey, this would have been a really fun game that looked a little bit like Fall Guys. But the more you play it, you can practically see a producer or somebody who's really high up in management, the more you play it, walking into the development studio and then looking over a dev's shoulder and saying, "This is brilliant. Now why don't we do this?"
Yeah, they're kind of again, it's like the work is
that's
so
what
good.
You can test with.
The developers' work is so good that it's inspired like everyone to go bigger, and now it's like it's unsustainable. And you know what? As like a filmmaker, or as like a college filmmaker, I guess I should say, but someone who's also made the occasional film, it's very common for you to have like an idea that starts out feasible, and for you to become inspired by your own work, and then get drunk on the fumes, and then it gets too big for what it is. That's not uncommon for any project, and it's just a shame it's happened in such a very public-facing, high-profile release, really, and it's very embarrassing for Sonic in a period where Sonic is actually doing quite good in terms of public goodwill. So I guess that's my, last 2 cents on this particular Rumble conversation before we move on to Super Chats. What about you, Dave?
It's like, there's so much else we could talk about on it, but the big thing that I sort of look forward to in the future, I say look forward to as in looking to the moment it happens, not I'm really looking forward to this. Some point in the future, they're going to say, Sonic Rumble is being released on this date. And people will be like,
yeah, all right, buddy.
It's ready. I can play the game. I can play the game at last. And I'm just thinking, yeah, the game is ready. It's ready. You can play it. It is definitely ready. There's an amazing but with ... at the end of that. And then that game Rumble's gonna come out. People are gonna flood to try it because people have been saying for months now, "Oh, I just don't care anymore. I don't care anymore. I'm not gonna try it."
Oh yeah, no, they all do.
It's a free to play game. You are definitely gonna try this out if you have any interest in Sonic just to see what it's like. We all know you are.
Absolutely.
All these people are gonna rush to this. They're gonna rush to Sonic Rumble. They're gonna download it. They're gonna play it. And then there's going to be that initial reaction if it is still in the state that it's currently in.
The thing is, I don't know, though, because I think
God,
there's going to be a lot of people like me that wouldn't have noticed these things until they were pointed out. I don't know, maybe I'm just in a good position.
There will be some people who genuinely play it, and they'll be like, I love it, I'm having so much fun, I can play as my favorite character, this is fantastic, woo woo. But the more you play it, the more you just start to see all this stuff, and the more you start questioning, why am I playing this? Like, why? There's so much stuff that's holding this down. And
I've got an easy answer to this, though. And, this is just for me, though. This is personal. So I'm not trying to say that anything you're saying is invalid here, but I do have an answer to that question. And for me, I'm enjoying the platforming mechanics of it, and I'm just enjoying the gameplay. I just enjoy playing these levels. I will sometimes return to Sonic Rumble, switch on custom games, and just run through the levels like they are regular-ass Sonic levels. It might even be that it works better as a straightforward mobile Sonic platformer than it does as a fucking live service multiplayer experience.
The irony is, I can sort of see what you mean by that, because there are some instances where when you just set a custom game and play in there yourself, you can do some fun stuff which you just cannot do. Well, you can, but it's very difficult in the multiplayer modes.
Yeah,
like for example, in the Green Hill stage, the racing one, there's that section where there's like the wooden windmills where you got to sort of push them and go through the doors. You can actually run across the top of those.
Yeah,
but it's very difficult to you've got to have some sort of prerequisite to do it. You've got to have either a homing attack stored and ready, or you've got to have some kind of air dash move.
But I'm
Otherwise,
kinda
you
cool
can't
with-
make the jump.
I'm cool with that though, because it is like, find a new
genuinely
mechanic and
fun to
explore a new
do,
territory.
But there's no way to do it in multiplayer, because if you've got a homing attack, the homing attack locks onto any enemy that's close by, so it's impossible to do it. And it's it's just one of them things where it's like there is some kind of fun stuff within it, but it has all this baggage and all this stuff which is just weighing it down. And when people say it's ready, it's like, no, it's not ready. It's playable. And there's a big difference there between something that's playable and something that's ready. And Rumble isn't ready, and I don't think it's ever going to be ready, but it's playable. And at this point, I think they should just rip the Band-Aid off and release the damn thing when the next season ends, just so everybody starts on a new season and they're getting stuff,
And the thing is, I don't think
same-ish rate.
Clearly not everyone is going to notice all the stuff that you've pointed out immediately, so it'll probably release to very strong reviews.
Oh, it will. It will. People will go apeshit for it just because they can play as their favorite character or whatever.
I mean,
and
truth
they'll
be told, I've given it.
Look at all these characters.
Well, truth be told, I've given it some glowing reviews myself. And I still stand by a lot of the points I've made, but you cannot actually ignore the points that you've brought to the table. I'm not really much of a competitive guy, but this game is a competitive game, so it should succeed at that,
Yeah.
But okay,
well, I think that was one of. Yeah.
Yeah, we should probably move on to
I was just going to say that was kind of the big thing for me. Rumble is a very competitive game, and the thing that kind of just put the nail in it for me as well with my enjoyment of it was the fact that it went from a competitive game that I felt it was based on my skill and ability that I was putting into it, and then when the skill system came in, it felt like that had shifted more to whatever was considered the meta build was now the thing that drove it.
Yeah.
And that made me sad.
Alright, I'm just copying.
And then they took my Omni fragments away.
Yeah, the Omni fragment. Never buy Rumble Plus. Not in the way it is. Never do Rumble Plus. Just copy pasting down these super chats now, and we're almost on the home.
I wonder if everybody's still mad at me on Twitter.
I don't think anyone was that mad at you in the first place. You just got
Oh,
some
they
rational
are.
idiots. No, they're not really mad though, because they don't exist. They're not real people. You know what they are? They are monkeys behind desks made to generate anger. You'll find out what that's a reference to when you go to the cinema.
Oh, there's a lot of mad people. I'm just laughing.
They're not
Oh,
people.
God.
They're not real. They are monkeys at computers in a black
I
hole.
might just respond with the gif of the man in the garden shed from 1 foot in the grave giving the thumbs up.
Do what must be done, my social media chum. Alright, we got the super chats down. You have access to the super chat mailbag, right?
Oh, yeah, will do as soon as I open up Discord and have a look at it.
Time to do that.
I forgot about these. Where's Discord gone?
The missing
Where the
disc.
heck is my Discord? It must be working because I'm talking to you and you can hear me. But there it is.
You found it?
Okay, Sunset City. Let's have a look. Like see, super chat mailbag.
Yeah, so you know the way this works. Burger underneath it, that's the one to read. And since
Yep.
I am to your left, I guess I'll start off and then you go after me. So, Burger. Mr. Krabs with the $1.99. It's Shadow Time Saturday and Wario Time. Thank you, Mr. Krabs. Alright, Burger.
Okay, and another $1.99 from Mr. Krabs. Mr. Krabs. Gromit, Rivet, Carl, why is Tangle and Whisper here? Oh, that was because we were talking about the season pass, and I'm guessing.
No,
Let's put Wallace and Gromit in.
Don't
that'd
try
be
and,
amazing.
Don't try and actually
Just
find
think
any.
about it.
Don't try and find any actual meaning behind these super chats, Dave. He's not campaigning for Wallace and Gromit. He has a fan fiction
now.
universe that
I
now
am
that
now.
you mention it, yeah, Wallace and Gromit in Crossworlds would be great.
They'd be in the sidecar.
Make no mistake though, Mr. Krabs is a fucking maniac, and he has access to another dimension where Wallace and Gromit are always getting their cheeks clapped in Marvel Rivals. The man
Sonic
is insane.
and Racing All-Stars Transformed, featuring Wallace and Gromit.
That would be so cool. Anyway, Borger.
It
So
would be amazing.
Giorno sends 10 Brazilian reals. Seeing the Sonic trophy at Ayrton Senna one on the thumbnail, and Brazilian F1 driver, reminds me, another week of hashtag Sonic Crossworlds Dublado. Share around. Say you gotta dub the games for the Brazilian audience. As usual, yeah, support Sonic Crossworlds Dublado. Thank you, Giorno. Borker.
Giorno again with two, was it Brazilian dollars, is it?
Brazilian reals.
Reals, that's it, yeah.
Yeah, Frank.
Reals. Also gonna see Superman now. Till next time. He's watching Superman instead of us!
No, I get it. Like, that movie's so
Yeah.
fucking good. That movie's amazing.
I haven't seen it yet. I have a feeling it's
adore
gonna fall into just okay for me, because I'm really burnt out on superhero stuff, but yeah, I do want to see it.
Superman is always special, and, like, this movie's special to me. So, yeah, hell yeah, Giorno, have a good time. Borker. Mr. Krabs, with the $4.99. Thank you, Mr. Krabs. Redo also Pup. These Wallace and Gromit skit are in the same universe and a sequel to the Wayne story stuff, but this takes place after everything. See, he's got this worked out. It's like a cinematic universe. Thank you, Mr. Krabs. Borker.
KB with $1.99. Only 5 days till Bonanza. I'm guessing that's what that is, Bonanza.
Only 5 days until I get a Nintendo. Only 5 years, sorry, until I get a Nintendo Switch 2.
Yes, of course.
Donkey Kong.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
I thought it was a convention or something called Bonanza. I was like, where the hell's that?
Wouldn't that be fun, like a banana convention?
Donkey
and they have,
Kong.
like,
Always,
there.
always. Why is it everything always comes back to Donkey Kong?
Monkey.
Monkeys. Monkey
KB
snake.
with the $9.99. Thank you, KB. The IDW staff need permission from Marza to use the ghost from Night of the Werehog, despite Sega owning Marza. That's why they only made one cameo in the comics and nothing beyond that. Yeah, because, yeah, Marza actually did do a new short film, like, a couple of years ago, maybe, or, like, 1 year ago, I don't know, with the ghosts, without the Werehog. And, yeah, it was cute, yeah, it was alright, yeah.
I wonder if that actually that reminds me that have you seen you can actually go on a ride of the Night of the Werehog now at Niagara Falls in Canada.
But you mean, is it not just like a 4D experience?
It's like, yeah, it's a 4D film, but surely that's licensed out. So I'm guessing they must still be licensing that out still.
It might just be that it's like, yeah, you can still release Night of the Werehog, you just can't necessarily, you need clearance to put them in a news story, I guess. I don't know how these things work. There's always paperwork.
Yeah.
Hey. Alright, let me grab...
Oh no, it isn't. No, I remember. They cut the ghosts. They cut like the scene at the start with the kids and the ghosts. Yeah, that's not in it.
How are you gonna have Night of the Werehog without the ghosts?
The ghosts are in it, but I don't think the lady ghost is.
How are you gonna do it without the lady ghost? She's the main antagonist.
I don't know. Someone on Sonic Retro went to it and they said that the intro with the kids isn't in it. It just starts with Sonic and Chip turning up, and I was like, wait, why would they cut that? And now that I've just read that comic about the lady ghost, I wonder if that's why, if she's also not in it anymore.
That's so fascinating.
Oh, I don't know. Oh, we
really...
need to go to Canada now and try it.
Group trip to Canada.
Hope you're now rich. You can wait. Trey's rich. He can take us to Canada. Trey's rich.
Yeah, he's
Trey can take us there.
Literally the wealthy Hollywood elite.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move along to the next one then. Borker. I think it's you as well to read this next one.
$1.99 once again for Mr. Krabs. Mr. Krabs. Sonic X. Kid a Common though. That would go so hard. I have no idea what that is.
It's Kinnikuman, and I have no idea what it is either, truth be told. But it does have quite a big fan base, and having Googled it for a second, it looks like it could fit in with Sonic. Thank you as always for your generosity, Mr. Krabs, Mr. Krabs. Next up, Borger, we got Oz Productions with the $5 US. Thank you, Oz. The same people that call Amy Hammer's... Sorry, let me try that again. The same people who call the Amy Hammer gag problematic scream yowie when Sonic, Knuckles, and Shadow punch each other in their face. Yeah, they're completely true. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Oz. Barker. Dave?
Oh, good lord. Another $1.99 for Mr. Krabs, and my good lord is because I've just read the comments. Gromit? Why is Akuma shotgun here, Gromit?
Shogun.
Shogun. Oh, God, I can't read today. I'm very tired. I've only had 4 hours sleep.
Oh, I get it. I'm tired
Gromit,
too.
why is Akuma Shogun here, Gromit? I don't know. Why is he here?
Thank you, Mr. Krabs, as always, you fucking generous maniac. Borger. Turbok, or Turb Zero, sends $4.99. Thank you, Turb Zero. Loki's still curious what the implications of Sega dropping modern Bark the Polar Bear in an unreleased mobile game has for the franchise. Yeah, we have a modern Bark now, and there's been some like discourse about his model not really lining up with how it looked in the Archie universe. Yeah, Archie isn't canon, but I'd be hypocritical if I didn't complain about that, because I do want to see more Archie influence, or to see that stuff fucking matters to Sega, because I'm a game apologist pilled moron. But, I don't know, I thought the model was okay for what it was, but at the same time, yeah, I'll always advocate for things to be a little better. But, yeah, like, Sonic Blitz seems to be bringing us modern versions of characters like Mighty the Armadillo, and, like, the Bandits and stuff, which is stuff I've always wondered why the fuck we can't just have, and I'm super thrilled to see that. Now give me classic Shadow, classic Blaze, all that stuff, and follow up on the Freedom Fighters.
Yeah, that's well, no, that they're not happening.
It could though. They're in the files. Like that's the biggest step they've ever made.
I know they're in the files, but I can't help but feel that maybe all they did, because when you look at like some of the data, it looks like it's been ripped from a fan wiki. I do kind of wonder if a lot of it was placeholder text.
I will believe
and then
it when
design
I
some
see
basic
it.
models, and then they sent it to Sega and was like, "Hey, which one of these can we use?" Oh, you can't use them, and we're going to design the models for those. But the interesting implications there is because it's also Rovio who's making Sonic Blitz. If they have 3D models that are appearing in that game, they're probably going to appear in Rumble as well.
Yeah, which could be cool.
So you will actually be able to play as them.
I think like Sonic Blitz could be
£50.
Sonic Blitz could be like a little backdoor into some characters making some form of return, or at least getting a bit of official acknowledgement. At the end of the day, I'm always going to be in favor of a little bit of acknowledgement of things like the Freedom Fighters, and I think Sonic Blitz being card-based would give itself a hard time if it was overly choosy with its characters. You know, I think you need to get as much as you can. And if they said, like, yeah, this is just another world or something, like...
I mean, there is going to be some hell of... If we was talking about earlier how some of the characters are changing, boy, Patrick and Mac's going to have one hell of a retcon, because I can't see them going, play as everyone's favourite war crime criminal, Patrick and Mac.
I don't know if it's like that, though, is it? It's like you get a bunch of cards offered to you, you press them, and then you just kind of use them like a trading card, I guess.
Yeah, I know, but it's like when they eventually bring him to something like, say, Boom, or even Dash,
I see.
That's still going. Because that's another thing as well. Like, yeah, if some of the costumes characters that were in Dash, they're in Rumble now. You know, exactly the same. So if something's in Dash, it's probably going to be in Rumble, and I don't see why it can't work vice versa with all these games.
Yeah, it would be good. So I think Sonic Blitz could be a really good thing if it is shaping up to be the way it looks right now with the internal files. I take nothing for granted. If the Freedom Fighters are returning, I'll believe it when I see it. But put it this way, you outlined earlier the extent Sega went to reclaim rights to characters like Fang and just, you know, that they have done legwork for stuff like that. Like, they actively do own most of the Freedom Fighters.
Well, I think that was silly. I think that was mainly a Sumo Digital thing. They wanted to use it, and they'd done all the work, and they were like, "Oh, well, who do we need to get approval of?" And it's like, "Oh, Gilius Izoma is this kind of hermit guy who lives in the woods somewhere, so you've got to go track him down. Goodbye." So they had to do that, but
well,
yeah.
Either way, like I
just found that really funny.
I'm open to the idea. I want them to do it, and if they don't do it, I will continue to call them pussies.
But that's just sort of I just sort of realized something. This was something that I brought up in the the Boom video, how there's a little bit of a meta game play with people making like those
You
gothic
really do
Amy Rose
mistake
gangs.
Rumble for Boom a lot, don't you?
I don't know why. I don't know why I keep doing it. If Pachacamac ends up, who is going to be the absolute lunatic that makes the Pachacamac Echidna Death Squad, whose leader Pachacamac and then random Knuckles is going around bullying anyone that's Tikal or anybody that's a Chow or whatever just because he's Pachacamac?
Well, now that you've given me that idea, if that ever becomes available, I will definitely do that. And I'll pair him up with the barbecue chow, because the barbecue chow is like the best buddy. I
have seen that though. That's one thing that Rumble does, which is which definitely could be something of a psychological study. I have seen certain characters deliberately bullying other characters, like Cream especially. She is often chased around and punched by other players for some reason.
I've seen that content creators tend to get singled out, and I'm just saying, if you do that, you're so corny. That's so corny.
Oh, we do. We. Oh no, the thing as well is I tell people in the Sonic Rumble Discord to deliberately go and bully content creators whenever they see them, just because I think it'd be funny.
So corny, dude.
And they're like, "But you're a content creator." I'm like, "I know, but you should do it anyway. Go bully content creators."
It is so cheesy. Like, okay, we'll move on to this next super chat now. So Borker. Okay, this is a you read.
Oh yes. Oh, it's from Mr. Krabs again for $4.99. But to be serious, why can't Sonic Rumble do the same things that Marvel Rival does with that game's currency? I don't know, because I don't play Marvel Rivals.
You've got it wrong. It says Rumbulele. Sonic Rumbulele.
Oh, Rumbulele.
And Mr. Krabs asking about Sonic
Rumbulele,
Rumbulele, not Sonic Rumble.
Rumbulele.
I'm looking forward to Sonic Rumbulele. I'm probably bullying someone for spelling it. Genuinely, no, it's just Rumbulele sounds so funny. Sonic Rumbulele.
I mean, we're not taking the mick here because I can't read today, so which I think I've proved beyond a shadow of a doubt.
I'm taking the mick because I am the most powerful creature in the known universe, but it's only that. That's literally the only.
But I'm also getting bullied on Twitter.com right now, so I don't care.
I don't allow myself to be bullied. Everyone that tried to bully me on Twitter is dead.
I just take screenshots and use it for content and videos.
Petty bitch, I love it.
I get money. It's brilliant. Like,
yeah,
it's brilliant. Like, you see, like people like post complaints about opinions I have, and then I just use it as content. Be like, well, you see, some people think this, but here's why this person is wrong, and then get money. It's great. Actually, it's not. It's petty and it's sad, but hey, it makes the money. But whatever. But serious, why can't Sonic Rumbulele do the same things that Marvel Rival does? Pop, why can't Sonic Rumbulele do the same things that Marvel Rival does with its game's currency?
What about Marvel Rivulele? When is that one coming out?
Okay. Does anyone know? Does anyone actually know the answer to this? What does Marvel Rival do with its currency?
I haven't played enough of Marvel Rivals to do that. But yeah, thank you, Mr. Krabs. Mr. Krabs, as always, incredibly generous and unhinged, but occasionally asking the real questions. So that concludes today's sunny Sunset City with our boisterous boy Badnik mechanic. So Dave, what can we expect from your channel? Like, what's new?
Well, Hop. So, like we said at the start, I went to that Mclaren thing, and I do have a lot of video from that. It's not very good video, but I'm hoping to get a little bit more. Maybe I will put something together with that. But the big thing, the Sonic Frontiers video that I've spent way too long working on, I finally started recording the audio for that, so that should be getting along very soon. And oh boy, I have a lot of opinions about Sonic Frontiers.
I wouldn't have fucking guessed. I wouldn't have fucking guessed that you would have a lot of opinions about something.
Oh, if people are angry now, wait until they hear my opinions about that one, baby.
I genuinely think you could pull off a one-man podcast, but then again, that's basically just a YouTube video, isn't it? Like,
I don't know. I mean, I probably that's not a bad idea actually. I could call it Badnik Bitches.
There you go, bad Nick bitches. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. In my own little case, what I'm doing is, if you go to my channel now, you can see my new review of Superman, a movie that is going to be my entire personality for the next 5 to 8 years. So you can assume that I liked it. And that is the end of the episode. Dave, any last words?